Good evening, everybody. This is the sixth session of the Scottish Short Course Winter Meet for 2021. I'm Tony Rose, and with me this evening is Jack Thorpe.
Cheers, Tony. Good to be back.
Second evening in a row for you, Jack. So people were good comments from last night, so hopefully we can keep that going. We're starting a wee bit early than you might have been expecting this evening. Races aren't starting till 5:30, but we're going to have a number of awards. Normally be an award evening that Scottish Swimming would hold through the year, but unfortunately due to the pandemic this year, no award evening, but that doesn't mean no awards. So we're just going to have a series of them over the next few minutes. So they'll be on camera, and we'll be talking you through them as we go through. So as we're waiting for them, just a quick catch up with Jack in terms of highlights for the night ahead. What are you looking forward to in particular tonight, Jack, other than the award ceremonies, obviously, before we get into the swimming?
Well, of course, but I think looking to the swimming, 202, the men's 200 freestyle, could be a high ticket event. We've got a couple of potential records that could go there. We've got the 100 metre butterfly women as well, that's in 203, and then a bit later we've got the 50 backstroke, national record being set this morning by Scott Gibson, very close, Martin Walton in tow behind, and then the very last race of the evening, the mixed 4x50 medley, again records available and likely be broken. Lots to look forward to.
Absolutely, yeah. No, there's some really cracking. If you look at the 100 fly women you just mentioned, there's 4 of those women under a minute, and looks like they've got more to come. So we're going to go into the awards. I'm hoping the camera is going to move over to where the awards podium is, so you at home get a chance to see, and as you do. So this is the first award of the evening, and this is the Para Swimmer of the Year, and I think not surprisingly, really, given some of his swims already this weekend and before in the Olympics, Stephen Clegg from University of Edinburgh. They are well deserved. Lots of good para swimming going on this year, but Stephen Clegg is the brightest of a great bunch of Scottish para swimmers, and he's been awarded the Para Swimmer of the Year, and congratulations to him. We have another couple of awards coming in as well. Let's just get Stephen there waiting for these. So we've got the WG Todd Junior Swimmers Awards this year, and we've got a couple of swimmers here. So in the female award is going to go to fantastic swimmer Katie Shanahan from City of Glasgow is getting this award. She has had an amazing year. She swam at the European Junior Championships this year. She's been one of the few Scots in the ISL as well this year, so really fantastic prospect as she is awarded, given her trophy there. And with the retirement of Hannah Miley in the medley in particular, we've got safe hands with Katie Shanahan coming on to take on from her. And in terms of the junior male this year, he's a specialist IM swimmer, but all-round strong swimming. Also represented Great Britain at the European Juniors, finaling in that event. And the IM events at the European Junior Championships was at Warrender during those events, but has now moved on to University of Stirling, and that is Angus Allison. Some cracking swims already this weekend as well. Has made that transition from club swimming to university swimming very well. And this is moving on now to the next award, and this is Coach of the Year, University of Stirling. Great factory of swimmers coming out of Stirling University, in particular Duncan Scott, but many others as well. And that is Stephen Tigg being awarded the Coach of the Year from Scottish Swimming. Well deserved there as well. And congratulations to him. So we've got one final award. This is the J.Y. Coots Award. This is for outstanding service to Scottish swimming, and somebody who has been in and around Scottish swimming for many, many years, director of this meet and much more, over 20 years in this, and it is J.Y. Coots Award this year goes to Margaret Riech, who's just moving up to the podium here, a stalwart of Scottish swimming for many, many years. This is a surprise to her. She had no idea she's running this meet, and this is the one thing that's been kept from her, kept secret throughout the meet. and I'm sure she'll be delighted, if slightly embarrassed to get this, knowing Margaret, but fantastic service to Scottish swimming, so well done to Margaret for that. Congratulations to them all. And that's the awards for the night. More awards to be done on the swimming front tonight as well. Just to let you all know, there's going to be, after the first event, which is the men's 1500 freestyle fastest heat, there is going to be a swim-off for the 50 back youth final, but we'll come on to that after we've done the 1500 fastest heat. We've got a few minutes now before we move into the swimming, so let's recap back on the races this evening. We've got the men's 1500 freestyle. Looks to be relatively close affair, and then we'll move on to the women's 200 IM. Three races in that. We've got a youth final, a B final and an A final. Only the 200 IM's got youth final as well as the hundreds and the 50s, so that's a good opportunity, Jack, I think, for some of these younger guys to get into the final session, get practice around heats and finals in separate sessions. So looking forward to a number of youth finals this evening as well. Men's 200 free, you've already mentioned that. We've got a mixture of vast experience, Stephen Milne, Reg Lloyd, and pretty youthful promise coming through in the likes of Evan Jones, Jack Munsey, Andrew Bartoli. So that should be a good combination of youth and experience there in the A final. Women's 100 fly into the A final. You've got Ciara Schlosson, Tame Bruce, Kiana McInnes, Yasmin Perry, Lucy Grieve as well, a young pretender coming in the 100 metres butterfly for women. Men's 100 breaststroke, Craig Benson still going. Eugene Cook from Edinburgh University, Irish swimmer. He's going to be challenging him on that one. And as we move into women's 50 free, lots of young talent as well in that one. So that's going to be a good race in the A final as we move through into that. Men's 50 backstroke, Scott Gibson broke the Scottish record, long-standing Scottish record this morning, so it'll be interesting to see if he can improve on that. Women's 200 breaststroke. It's Edinburgh Uni stacked final there. Two sisters in that one as well, which will be interesting, but Annabelle Guy Johnson was the fastest qualifier, but a bit of a surprise. Men's 200 fly, pretty close in the final for that one. And the women's 100 back, we've got an amazing talent of 100 backstrokers in Scotland at the moment. Lots of young swimmers as well as some experienced ones, so that will be a cracking race. Men's 100 IM, not often swum. Got an age group record from Stefan Kravitz. She's in the final up against some of the older swimmers there. And the women's 400 free, and then these mixed medley relays. It's a nice addition to have the mixed medleys. Exciting races that different order of male and female with the different strokes, so looking forward to them as well. But looks like the swimmers are ready for this 1500 free. A couple of minutes before half past, but see, so what are you looking out for here, Jack, on a 1500? Were you a 1500 one of your favourites, or maybe 15 times too long for you? Is that the
Yeah, well, I went from one extreme to the other, actually. I started out in 1500, believe it or not,
there
from about 12 through to 14, 15, among 200 breaststroke, 400 medley, kind of jack of all trades, master of none kind of vibe, until changing of the guard at M&B with new coach coming in, the XXX now, 50 freestyle Scottish record holder, and I flipped my programme on its head, and from 16 through to 18 purely specialised on the 50. So everything in between the 50 and the 1500.
Well, there you go. That's called versatility, I think, isn't it?
Well, that's the way it's going now with a lot of the youth of these days. The ISL, it's a great example of the importance to really keep a broad spectrum of opportunity for the younger athletes.
Yeah, it seems to have moved from specialism early to as much as you can in many different events, and then once you get on a bit to see where you want to focus in on. So
very much so. And there's still rewards and opportunity even as a senior for the multi-events. Look at Duncan Scott and a lot of the other senior ISL swimmers.
Absolutely. Just an announcement in the stadium for COVID measures required around mask wearing, etc. Clearly slightly heightened at the moment, so just reinforcing the message in the building that the meet's got a requirement for mask wearing and general hand hygiene, just to make sure we can keep the event going, give everyone as many opportunities as possible, having had so few swimming races in the last 18 months. important to be able to keep it going. And just earlier there, just before those presentations, there was the lane draw for next weekend. There's the National Team Championships that are coming up next weekend. So hopefully that is going to be carrying on. So we're moving into this men's 1500. Let's get the swimmers in here. We've got in lane 1. In fact, there's a bit of a City of Glasgow fest in this race. So if I don't mention a club, it's because they're City of Glasgow. So we've got Robert Burgess in lane 1, Archie Dixon in 2. In lane 3 is Angus Johnson, Marshall Illingworth, lane 4, and Michael Flynn in 5. And then we have Struan Bennett, Kinross swimmer, in lane 6. Luke Hornsey, East Lothian, in lane 7, and Kai Connolly, City of Glasgow, in lane 8. So clearly something in the water in Glasgow at the moment for the 1500 long distance stuff.
Yeah, well, Glasgow have got a great pedigree of distance swimmers. Think back to Mark Deans and athletes of kind. I think Stephen spent a lot of time training in Glasgow. Camilla Hattersley as well on the women's side. Again, they've got a great programme there, even now, with a bit more broad. But yeah, it's nice to see a club really pushing through in the distance events. Maybe a bit of a gap in the market currently within the Scottish swimming fraternity as the athletes go. There's again a lot of drive and motivation towards the shorter events. We mentioned the ISL, but still plenty of opportunity internationally for the more distance-based opportunities.
I had that discussion with Scott Goby this afternoon, exactly that discussion around that. And also post-COVID, it's the distance meets that have had more challenge getting back into it. It's more endurance. So yeah, an opportunity for some youngsters to really take on board. And we've got one of those youngsters later on, Jack Munsey, had a very strong 800 last night. He's in on the 200 today, so but not choosing to do the 1500. But here we go in this 1500, and it's in lane 5 is Michael Flynn from City of Glasgow. So from your 1500 days, what would you have said to these guys if you were their coach before this race in terms of way to approach it or how to crack on?
Well, I always thought with 1500, and I learned as I got a bit more experience with it, it's a war of attrition towards the kind of last third if you're thinking about it in 500s and blocks. When you bring in the legs, the use of the legs, the body position, if you can kind of sustain a long loping stroke, you kind of look at these athletes leading out the front, particularly with the likes of lane 4. Marshall is very gentle kick, looks in control. And with the last couple hundreds towards the end of a 1500, the legs really become important. If you look at some of the top end athletes, they really do start to sprint. They've got a kind of 8-beat kick in the last 100. If you can hold on and establish a technique around that and really maximise the walls, in particular in short course. I've looked to Stephen Milne. I was looking at his 800 last night, and absolutely attacks every single wall from the get-go.
So in a 1500, 59 turns, a couple of points per turn. That adds up to a lot of extra savings.
It does indeed. It does indeed. And if you can be efficient about it, both in your rotation speed, the distance you're going off the wall, it's also that balance of how far underneath the water you go, because of course you don't want to build up too much lactic acid. So in the 1500, it's kind of converse to the shorter events where you're going to be doing lots of fly kicks. You'll probably see 1, maybe 2 from the athletes here.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's a tactical decision for the longevity of the event.
And that's exactly what these guys are doing. And there's 2 of them out, Marshall and Michael, likely training buddies, I would think. 2:33.51 there. So out in a 59.63 for the second 100. Let's see where they get into their rhythm as they go through this. So that's interesting. You're thinking about it in blocks of 500s. So let's just keep an eye on that for each of these 500s, see where they go. So are they looking for sort of almost even pacing through each of the 5s, or how would you see that panning out?
Well, what you normally see, again, and thinking the kind of more elite senior stage, but it's still applicable for the youngsters, is kind of you establish yourself in the first couple 100, 2 to 400, and then you really settle into kind of an even pace and an even rhythm of your splits through the 50s and the 100s. And then really, the way I always tried to think about it was kind of building towards the end of the race. Again, it's that stability of that middle 500, not losing too much or dropping off the pace, but being able to have enough left to push on when it really matters towards the end. And like you see with the centre 2 lanes with Marshall and Michael, they're really establishing their leads within this first 400 to 500 metres. Marshall in particular maybe making a bit of a move there away from Michael.
Yeah, so interesting you're saying about the regularity of pace already. So that was a 63.1 second 200 and a 62.7 third. So already Marshall is starting to get into that rhythm that maybe hoping to carry on through the race. But Michael's still sticking with him by the looks of things.
I remember one of my actually best swims in a 1500, I actually hooked on to another athlete, and it very much became a tactical race as opposed to sticking to my own plan. It's not necessarily the best thing to be doing, but that's what my coach at the time advised me to do, and it did work. And it really did come down to the last 50 or 100 metres. He absolutely hated for me. He hated me for it afterwards, but yeah, I mean, I was never going to have a long career in the 1500, but I think that was more of a reflection of myself.
Good to use the people around you to take you for a better swim. So Marshall still though trying to pull away, I think, from Michael. So that's 4:38.
Yeah, and just having that race awareness, those race tactics. Again, in a 1500 longer event, you can afford to look around the pool a little bit. It might be around in the turns. You might have a little glance, a little look over. See some of the elite guys in fly. I think of Chad Leclos looking across. I'm not sure if that's a psychological thing or not, but very much so. In a 1500, it is tactical, depending on which direction you're breathing to. Again, I think back to Stephen Milne, that bilateral breathing technique, having that advantage to be able to breathe to both sides and look across the lanes to your competitors. And here Michael does need to be aware of Marshall's leads that he's extending now if he wants to stay in contention. Again, there's still all to play for here, depending how quick Marshall's going out, if he can hold on. But again, Michael's in a bit of no man's land here, so it very much will come down to his own internal pacing.
Absolutely, he's got one ahead of him and a bunch behind him. So just to take a note, that was your 500s, that was a 5:10.34 for that first 500. So let's see how we go with that. 5:41.58 in the next turn. But he is absolutely 62.7, 62.7, 62.8 for his last 300. So he's really, Marshall's got a nice pace around him.
Well, he's on track for his entry time of 15:52 on that basis. Again, it just depends how much he can stick it together, but the legs are looking relaxed. So maybe actually increase his rate a little bit here. Still looking quite long, fairly efficient. Again, there's lots of different styles you see in 1500. Some swimmers a little bit erratic almost, but that's the rhythm they settle into, and particularly for these longer events. So whatever rhythm you can sink into, that rhythm, range, relaxation, so important in the longer events.
Yep. It's interesting, you said he picked up in there. He's just gone slightly faster on that 100, so that was a little bit of a move.
Yeah, it might be a tactical decision. I believe it will be either Ian or Danielle at Glasgow. I'm not entirely sure who these athletes will be under, but again, there's great pedigree, like I said, from the city of Glasgow with distance events. Ian Wright coached Camilla Hattersley to 2016 Olympics, and again, he'll have an awareness of the pacing and what it takes. So again, there might have been a discussion there into this middle 500 or middle block to push on a little bit.
So we'll see whether that becomes a pattern as he turns there. I mean, Michael's just only slowly getting pushed away from, but he's definitely maintaining that gap between him and the three behind. So give them a call. Angus Johnson in 3, in 6 Struan Bennett, and in 7 is Luke Hornsey. So 7:15.51 there.
Yeah, and it's actually very close for third with Struan and Luke. They were a couple hundredths away in that last turn from each other. So, and even across the pool, looking to Angus, they're kind of all to play for that third place spot at the moment.
Absolutely. So that's quite a nice little tussle there. Sometimes that could be distracting, having somebody else beside you, but you'd think keep them going.
Yeah, well, I think the beneficiary there will be Struan, having someone on each side of him to look to there. I can actually see him in the pool, bilateral breathing. That may well be what he's doing.
So halfway, 7:46.84 for Marshall. So that'll be a nice feeling knowing he's over halfway. Every length he does is much closer now. 29 turns left for him. This board's at the end.
I must also admit I did need those boards back in the day, particularly short course. You would lose count.
Absolutely.
It's easily done.
Easily done in a 400 as well, but they don't get pulled out for the 400. So that's a 63 there. So no, 62 again. No, he really is 62.8 there. So he's absolutely nailing the rapidity of these of this swim here. Good sign over halfway through.
believe that's him actually lapping his teammate potentially now, crossing lane 2, Archie Dixon. So well on track here for a good performance from Marshall.
So 8:49.61. But the 3 swimmers in for third are still maybe the 2 in lane 6 and 7, so Struan and Luke slightly dropping Angus in lane 3, slightly got a couple of swimmers between them, a couple of lanes between it. Might be more difficult for him to just be able to see them, get that feel, but it's still the 3 of them really. So 9:20.93, 62.5 again, so it's really...
Yeah, it really is holding it together well here. It's very controlled up to this point.
Yeah, as you say. Little kick out the wall there and then settling into a nice gentle kick rhythm.
Yeah, it's important to kind of maximise that glide, a kick up, then a few flutters in, really get you back up to speed and into your stroke as efficiently as possible.
So 9:52.47 there.
Yeah, it's a good spot there, Tony. He does seem to be consistently doing that off the wall. A couple of stronger kicks. Again, maybe compensating for the lack of underwater fly kicks, which again is that balance. If you don't want to be holding your breath for too long underwater, that really conduces the lactic build-up.
Yeah.
So again, that's a good distance tactic there.
Bit of length between him and Michael now. Michael's pulling away from the 3, so I think Michael's definitely going to be in second. 10:24. So that was a 5. So that's really good. That's another 5:12 for his second 500. 5:12 for his first 500.
Well,
that's what you call, that is what you call steady pacing on a 1500.
Again, it'll be interesting to see what he does just prior to the bell as well. So the last 100 and then the last 50, to see how much he picks it up or what he's got left in the tank. I always remember hearing that bell. It really was the surge of adrenaline to really fire the afterburners.
Although this afternoon the bell was rung at 100 rather than 50, so you wouldn't want that really, would you? But the swimmer really held the composure really well, knew where he was, kept going, and didn't let it disrupt him, so he did very well.
That's extremely impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Trying to look at my notes just to...
Again, Michael holding his own for that second place, and third it looks like Luke is pulling away actually now from the other 2, maybe making a bit of a move for that third place contention. Angus and Struan getting dropped slightly. Couple seconds, I think Luke does seem to be engaging the legs a little bit more. Yeah, he's definitely picked up his leg pace. Luke for third place.
So he's really pulled away. It's a youngster there, only 15 years old.
Yeah, and to reiterate on poolside commentary, Marshall well on pace for a PB swim potentially, or at least underneath his entry time of 15:52. Particularly if he keeps up the 5:12 roughly pacing.
Well, that's 5:36 if my maths serves me right, so that'll be a nice improvement.
That'll be a substantial improvement for his entry.
So here he comes to lap the guys who are 4th and 5th. So, and Michael really has done well. He's sticking with him. He's just at the length behind Marshall, 12:32.21.
So he's slipping his pace a little bit now, I think, but
tough. Maybe passing the swimmers. If you're coming up passing swimmers, does that give you a little bit extra incentive and boost as you're going through?
I would definitely say so. It's definitely a surge in motivation to push on, knowing that you're catching up, overtaking. Even likewise, those that are being lapped potentially gives them a bit of motivation to kick in and try and push on a bit. I think, again, Marshall's put in an exceptional performance in this first 1,000 metres, or the first 2 500s, as we say, but still holding on. If he can hold on even in the 104s, 103s, he's still well on track for under his entry.
Absolutely. So it's coming with nearly getting towards the final 250 here. Michael Flynn having a quick look at the boards, always desperate in a 1500. You look up thinking, please tell me it's 4 to go or 5 to go, and it's actually 11. But Marshall 13:36.20. So that was a 104. So he's slightly slowed. He was on 62s and he's now on 64. But
there's another big look at the clock at the board there. Sorry, so he's seen 7 lengths to go.
Yeah. I suspect he's really starting to hurt, and he's still motoring along though. And he's overtaken pretty much everybody now in the field apart from Michael Flynn. He's just catching up with Luke Hornsey, 14:08.
And he's still managing to sustain that burst of kick off the wall. That will really keep him in as good a position as possible for the closing stages. If he can keep that engaged and really maximise the walls.
So he's turning at 5 to go. So at this turn it's going to be 100 to go. He'll be delighted to know that's 4 lengths. See what he's got left in the tank.
He's got plenty margin for that 15:52 entry time.
Which is great to see. We just want to max the opportunity here. So that's a 64 again. So let's see if he can pick it up on this last 100. He's going to be well inside his entry time anyway, but not that many 1500 opportunities, so he'll want to make the most of this.
Certainly
so
will.
Here he comes. You'll hear that absolutely blessed sound of the bell. Here comes the bell. And he's 15, 12, 13. So let's see what he's got. See what he's got in this last 50. He's overtaking Archie Dixon, I think, for the second time now. And he's turning with 1 to go. Really strong, well-paced swim here from Marshall. And he's 15:52 as his entry. He's going to get nicely under that.
There's the legs fluttering away, whatever he's got left in the tank.
Absolutely. Oh, a nice shot there as he comes in.
Good to see head down.
15:42.85. So
10-second drop.
Very nice. And Michael Flynn coming in now. He was in on a 16:09. He's going to get under his entry time for sure. 16:02. Nice swim for Michael.
So close to that barrier.
Yeah, these barriers are big psychological boosts, aren't they? Milestones. And there's Luke coming in, and he's going to take third. 16:16. So that's a 40-second improvement for Luke. That's a great swim from the 15-year-old. Pleased with that, hopefully. Angus coming in 16:21.
Again, thinking to these athletes, when was the last opportunity to put in a distance event? It could well have been over a year, several years even in some instances, the development that's gone on since then.
So I think Edinburgh International was the last meet in this pool before the pandemic. There was some swims in the summer, but I don't think there was a 1500 at the Festival of Swimming, so it's going to be at least a year and a half probably. So that's good to see the opportunity for them all. I'll be glad to have that. And Marshall Illingworth made the most of it with a 15:42. Michael Flynn, as you can see on the screen there, second, 16:02 at 5, and Luke Hornsey coming in third. So we've got a swim off here now. 50 back.
Yeah, we've got Alex Thompson from Warner Baths and Travis Davey from Dundee City Aquatics.
So, as often happens in these, whether they go much faster than their heat swim, usually the way in a swim off, I think. So
I've been in a few swim offs in my time, and you always have that extra level of adrenaline and pressure, or just in a good way to really seize the moment in an arena like this. Just you and a fellow athlete alongside in the centre lanes. So these opportunities don't come along very often.
Absolutely not.
Hope they maximise it. Because again, they'll have a good bit of time before the 50 back individual, so let's see what they've got in the tank.
So here we go, Alex Thompson in 4 from Warren the Bass, Travis Davey, Dundee in 5. Good start from both of them, really.
Oh, we've got
Alex is just ahead, but really good. Oh, Alex stuck on the wall there. Very good turn from Travis. Really strong. Alex coming back at him though, and he is coming back, but it's going to be very tight. But I think Travis has maybe just maintained that momentum off the wall. 27:11 for Travis. So that was a nice swim there. Alex Thompson just edged out, 27.49.
27.11, I think would put them 4th or 5th into the youth final, looking at the standings from this morning.
Yeah, it's a 27.56 this morning was their time. So Travis has improved on that, as has Alex. But it's Travis who gets the extra swim. But Alex has at least improved on his time. So moving into the next of the races is the women's 200 metres individual medley. So this is one of the ones with a youth final, so it's good to see. And we're going to go straight into that in this heat. In this youth final, we have Melissa Mainwaring, West Lothian in lane 1, Louisa Stoddard, East Lothian in 2, Ella Stevenson from Bellshill Sharks in 3, Lucy Stoves, Dundee City Aquatics in 4, Anna Green, Warrender Baths in 5, Kiana Kurtzer, Warrender Baths in 6, Amy McLeod, City of Glasgow in 7, and Daly Armstrong, East Lothian in lane 8. So 50 fly, back breast and free. Often shifts around through the event as the specialisms come through.
So a very good start from Louisa Stoddart up there in lane 2. Full advantage of that first 15. Same again off the walls. It's always hard to tell with the 200 IM and 400 IM respectively, with different strengths of strokes, and it can really chop and change throughout the event. Absolutely.
So it's Louisa and Kiana Kurtzer, youngster, in lane 6 as well as lane 1. It is Melissa Mainwaring, 30.84. Most of these combination of 16 and 15-year-olds, with the exception of Kiana, who's the 13-year-old, has had a good meet so far in the 100 back later on as well. But it's Melissa, strong backstroker herself, who is taking this out on the backstroke leg, followed by Kiana in second, and Louisa on the strong fly is maintaining that a bit on the backstroke as well. But Melissa,
yeah, up at the top there, pulling through. Clearly a strong backstroker as well. She will touch first.
So
just
over half a second.
Yeah.
So let's see where we get to on the breaststroke. Often breaststroke's the one that sorts the IM out, I think.
We found one thing there in particular, but if you can maximise it, it's a slow stroke. You're swimming it for the longest period of time, so like you said, you can really maximise or lose out depending.
Absolutely, and then Lucy Stove is taking that advantage in lane 4. Coming through, and Melissa's though still holding her off, but Lucy's come through on Kiana in that breaststroke leg and reeling in Melissa, but she won't be able to see much of her over there, and so just having to swim her own race. And Melissa's really done well. She's been leading pretty much from the beginning, not much between them. Oh, actually dead heat in the turn there onto the breaststroke to freestyle, so all to play for in this 53.
That was a huge leg there from Lucy, caught up a good couple seconds there, very impressive. But again, Melissa maybe pulling away a little bit now. Again, she's breathing away. Oh, double breath there. She might be breathing towards Lucy here though, Melissa she is, so she'll have that advantage.
They're both looking at each other, but Melissa's really outside steamer on this 200 IM. She had a 2:29 this morning. I think she's going to get nicely under that. Really strong swimming from Melissa right from the beginning. 2:24.45, so that's a
enormous drop.
That's not a bad drop from a heat to a final. Second was Lucy Stove, and third Anna Williamson. 2:26.23 for Lucy and 2:26.91.
It's always an interesting tactic or balance of how hard you go out in the heats in the morning. I'm of the preference for the youngsters especially to maybe give it a go in the mornings, because I think it translates a bit more effectively to the senior swimming, where you don't really get the opportunities to be as off your best, if you like. But nevertheless, it was a great double swimmer back up there from Lucy, still just marginally outside what she did this morning.
Absolutely.
But again, doing that from a centre lane can be tough. The pressure involved there, stepping up. But again, you can't discredit Melissa from that stellar performance from the outside lane.
Definitely. Just to correct there, Anna Williamson actually swam in for Anna Green in lane 5 and ended up getting third in that, so coming in as a reserve, going a 2:26. So well done, Anna, getting the chance to get in that youth final and making the most of it with a 3-second improvement.
Wow, okay.
So as we move into this B final, we have Thanrada McGregor from Warrender Baths in 1, Mary Craig from Stirling Swimming in 2, Louise Edmonds from Royal Wolverhampton in 3, Holly McGill, Heart of Midlothian in 4, Amy Watson in Inverclyde in 5, Nuala Gow from Gary in 6, in 7, Isabel Wood from Stirling Swimming, and Heidi Wren, youngster, in lane 8 from City of Glasgow.
couple of strong flyers here. It's looking like it's going to be Louise in the first 50. If she gets her timing right on the wall, it is indeed 30.0. Strong first 50.
Under over half a second up on the Heidi Wren in lane 8 from City of Glasgow. Got the second touch there, but 4 girls here on the backstroke. You can see in the screen pretty much in a line. Not surprising, Holly coming in on the backstroke. Just missed out on the Scottish Junior 200 backstroke record last night by 8/100ths of a second.
She'll be looking to maximise this leg to its full, as she is doing. Nearly a body length up across a 50 split. Very impressive, and that's from nearly a second down to Louise at the initial split. Really big leg there from Holly.
Making the most of her backstroke specialism. So it's still Holly out there, inside her Louise Edmonds, and in lanes 7 and 8 here we've got Isabel Wood and Heidi Wren. Holly hanging on though on this breaststroke.
She is again, maybe backstroke translating a wee bit better to freestyle potentially, so we'll wait and see what she's got in the last leg, but if she can hold on here. Although Louise is closing slightly.
It's all of a sudden become a different 3 or 4 horse race in lanes 2, 3, 4 and 5. But it is Holly who's taken that one on. See whether she can hold on for this freestyle leg with Louisa. She's looking pretty strong, legs kicking hard.
A really powerful 6-beat kick there, loping stroke. Breathing every 2 to her left. She'll be breathing towards Louise here on the way back, I think. She'll see that and she has a little look back. Stretching the lead away now, getting a really powerful kick.
And she's not holding back. She's got 100 backstroke later on. It's going to be very tight, but she's not holding back at all for that in this IM. 2:19.07, so that's a 1.5 improvement on her heat swim, so good swimming there. Second was Amy Watson, 2:21.42, so slightly down on her heat time. And in third, Mary Craig, 2:21.98, so that's a nearly 2-second improvement for her. So she's really picked up from the heat. There's the result confirmed on the screen.
Yeah, that's a great performance there from Holly, dipping into the teens in the IM. Again, these barriers, that'll be a great psychological boost for her. Hope she takes that forward.
Absolutely. So we're now moving on to the A final here of this women's 200 metres individual medley. That's the girls coming across the screen there as they move over to the start. And in this A final in lane 1 we have Rachel Saunders from Warren de Baths, Joanna Sacha from Edinburgh University in 2, Ailsa MacDonald from Edinburgh University in 3, Thorne Brown Aberdeen Performance in 4, in 5 is Drew Mackenzie from City of Glasgow, Ciara Sloshan from Edinburgh University in 6, Orla Adams Edinburgh Aberdeen Performance in 7, and Scarlett Ferris Dundee City Aquatics in lane 8. Finding out from Chris Jones this morning that Joanna Sacha last night did a Greek records in the 200 backstroke, which we didn't pick up on, but that's she's come over from Greece for a postgrad at Edinburgh Uni, so that's a good swim from her.
Yeah, 2:07 I think she went. It was a good performance. She kind of streaked away in the last 50, 100 metres.
Absolutely. So she'll be back in the 100 back as well later on, I'm sure. But back to this 200 IM.
Ailsa MacDonald, one to look out for here. She had a great performance in the 400. Really strong breaststroke leg. Could maybe challenge for one of the medals.
So as they go off on the fly leg, it's lane 3. It is Ailsa. Still on this first length, pretty much in a line. Not surprising. Maybe Orla just behind, but she came back very strongly this morning in the back end of her 200 IM, so expect that again this evening.
Yeah, Orla, a very strong breaststroker, again coming from up north, and Hannah Miley's old training partner. She's been at it a very long time, very experienced athlete.
Absolutely. So lane 6, Ciara Sloshan, Edinburgh University, 25.58 strong, but it's Drew Mackenzie coming through on this backstroke.
Ciara Sloshan, more of a 200 fly specialist actually, but turning her hand to the medley events. Again, that transferability of endurance potentially coming through. Yeah. Good walls.
Joanna Sacha is coming strong on the backstroke, as you'd expect after the 200 swim yesterday, and it is going to be Joanna, I think, who just edges 102.78.
couple different techniques on the flip turn there, more traditional, but most of them going for that crossover flip, the most efficient way to get around the walls now in the medley events.
So Joanna showing some good breaststroke form here as well. You'd expect Yvonne Brown, I think, to come back, and Orla Adams on this breaststroke leg, and Yvonne has come through, fastest qualifier from the heats, but it's actually Joanna in lane 2.
And McDonald having a really good breaststroke leg again, similarly to our 400 medley yesterday. Might be in second place now, pushing even Joanna coming into the wall.
So it's all to play for on this front crawl leg. 4 of them pretty close. He also gets the touch. So here we go, 50 freestyle to finish off. And Yvonne kicking hard in lane 4. She came in fastest and wants to finish the race first. And she's had a cracking first leg of the freestyle here and has gone into the lead, good underwater, and it's a really close race now between Yvonne and Joanna, but I think Yvonne has timed this absolutely perfectly coming through in the freestyle.
I think Ailsa might be in close contention for second place. It's a great finish for second and third. Who's going to get it? Oh, just on the touch there, Joanna. That was a really good finish from her. It looked like Ailsa was going to get it, but again, they get themselves in the second and third positions, getting in amongst the medals.
Absolutely, but Yvonne Brown takes that one, 2:13, very strong freestyle at the end there. And she's come through to win the gold medal in this women's medley A final. So that was the results confirmed there. Good swimming. So we're now moving on to the men's. You're looking forward to this one. We've got the B final first, men's 200 metres freestyle. In lane 1, we have Ian Rose from Warrender Baths. Evan Davidson, youngster from Dundee City Aquatic in lane 2. Jude Lydiard from Edinburgh University in 3. Piers Greening, University of Stirling in 4. Peter Allen, University of Stirling in 5. In 6, Cameron Travis, Aberdeen Performance. In lane 7, Angus Allison, receiver of the award earlier on for Junior Swimmer of the Year in lane 7. And Alex Sargent, University of Stirling in lane 8.
Yeah, Evan Davidson broke the 14-year-old record this morning, 152.77, 14-year-old record. He's actually predominantly coached by Elaine Johnson at Strathallan. Again, the pedigree from Strathallan, the likes of Scott McClay and Duncan Scott, that again Elaine Johnson has been heavily involved with, and again following through with a youngster here.
Absolutely.
152 at 14 years of age is very impressive.
Very, very impressive. So we're off here. Strong start in lane 1, Ian Rose. Also lane 5, Peter Allen. And in lane 5 we've got, Peter Allen in 5, that's Piers Greening in 4. And we've got Cameron Travis going out strongly in lane 6 as well. So turning first is Pierce, 25.57.
Yeah, Pierce really attacking that first 50.
Yeah.
Very quick rotation speed around that first wall, second wall as well.
So it's Pierce out there, and then it's pretty close between lanes 1, 3, 5 and 7. So Ian, Jude, Peter and Cameron. But definitely Piers Greening taking this one out. Pretty clear, 52.96. So showing his intent here. Still pretty close between the others. Between Ian and Jude. Lane 5, Peter Allen maybe just edging ahead of Ian in lane 1. But it's still all to play for as they come up with turning with 50 to go. Evan Davidson just gradually reeling guys in. He's going in a back-ended 200 here.
Yes, indeed.
Cameron Travis second, Peter Allen third, and see what guys have got left in this 50. So it's still Piers Greening who's taken this one on, but it's still pretty close between Cameron Travis, Ian Rose and Peter Allen. See what they've all got in this last 25. But no doubt about Piers Greening is going to take this. He's going to be looking to get under 150, and he's going to be doing that. 149.08, nice swim from him. Second, Cameron Travis, 150.59, and third, Ian Rose just edging it there. 151.90, just from Peter Allen, Angus Allison. So good swimming there from Pierce. That's the confirmed result. Nice for Pierce to get under that 150.
Yeah, just outside there for Evan as well. 1300 slower than his morning performance. But again, backing up from a huge PB this morning. Again,
absolutely.
Being able to back up these swims, if you're putting yourself out in the line there in the morning, it's great practice for your development into the senior ranks. Particularly in the 200 freestyle, such a pedigree within GB as a whole.
Absolutely. And Scotland, good history in the relays as well at Commonwealth Games, so they'll all be wanting to carry that on and through into next year. Maybe a Commonwealth Games too soon for Evan, but I'm sure there are future opportunities, many for him, as we go forward in the next round. So we're moving into the A final. This should be absolutely fantastic, I think. In lane 1 we have Jack Munsey from University of Stirling, a bit of a University of Stirling fest here. Lane 2, Charlie Poole, University of Stirling. Evan Jones, Millfield School in lane 3. Stephen Milne, University of Stirling in 4. Henry Baker, University of Stirling in 5. In 6, Reg Lloyd, also University of Stirling. Andrew Bertoli, Ellesmere College Titans in 7. And Greg Fairbairn, University of Stirling in lane 8. So this is a couple of 17-year-olds here, Evan Jones and Andrew Bertoli, puncturing the University of Stirling cohort. Young Jack Munsey in 1 as well, had a cracking 800 freestyle yesterday, broke the Scottish age group 18-year-old record. So let's see what this race has to offer.
It's great to see Stephen back on some strong performance form. He was a little bit off there for a year or so, again changing programme, a long-standing relationship at Perth with Anne Dixon, now across to Stirling, and he's again finding his form once again, just in the nick of time for Birmingham next year. But I think his best is down in the 42s, I believe, so I think if he can get anywhere near that, he'll be very happy.
Yeah, he's definitely coming back though, back to his best, isn't he? Changing programmes, it happens quite a lot with some of these swimmers, doesn't it? This rotation around the different centres, just to freshen it up a little.
Yeah, particularly in the senior ranks, if you've been at a place for a long time like Stephen. But again, Stephen's discipline across the board, the whipping action he gets around the wall. Talked about this in his 800 last night. He's really attacking it from the get-go here.
Looks very strong, doesn't he? Very low trajectory of his arms. So you can see you tensing up with excitement here, Jack. That's good to see. Once a swimmer, always a swimmer, I think.
Of course, of course.
24-25 for Stephen, and he's really taken this one on, isn't he? He's got Evan Jones on his inside.
Yeah, Evan Jones, another youngster coming through. 400 medley swimmer in particular, put in a great performance last night.
Yeah, he's pretty much everything. He's good at fly, strong on the 100, 200 fly. He's not doing those events this weekend, but he's focusing on the free and the medley. So 50.4, that's a nice start.
Indeed, and Stephen's an unorthodox bilateral breathing technique. He'll go from 2s to 3s, back to the left, back to the right. It's always really exciting to see the technique and approach that he brings, but again, the technician around the walls, the power he gets, and breaking out around the 6 or 7 metre mark off each one is really impressive in a shorter 200 event. His
teammate Henry Baker is just slowly edging away from Evan, I think, but I don't think he's going to catch Stephen unless Stephen blows up in this last 50, which is, I would have thought, very unlikely given his 800 pacing. But Henry is very much on it, and he's catching on his feet, and he's pulled away from Evan Jones, and it's going to be close for third, I think, in lane 6, Reg Lloyd. But Stephen Milne absolutely storming in here. You were saying around the 142, 143, but he's going to get 144.69, so faster than this morning swim. Henry Baker just gets second, 146.44, and Evan Jones nudges into third, 1/10 of a second ahead of Reg Lloyd. Jack Munsey 149.04 in fifth.
Again, I think that's a smattering of PBs across the board.
Very much so there.
Henry looked very happy with that swim. I think it was at 148 prior to that, so a huge drop.
That is fantastic.
Evan Jones over a second as well, some big drops there.
Jack Munsey getting under 150, I think, for the first time as well. So almost all. Greg Fairbairn, the only one over 150, but that's a 150.59 is an improvement for him. So a very exciting 200 there. Stephen Milne, good to see him back, getting back to his best. So we're moving into the youth final now for the women's 100 metres butterfly. In lane 1 we have Yori Horn from City of Glasgow. In 2, Millie Milne, Warren the Baths. Louisa Stoddart from East Lothian in lane 3. Isabel Wood from Stirling Swim in 4. Kiana Kurtzer from Warren the Baths in 5. Stella McCarty, City of Glasgow in 6. Alice Mackey from Harder Midlothian in 7. And Helen Stoddart in lane 8. So 2 Stoddarts in this final. Louisa's got a nice extra swim here, so Nulagau pulled out, so Louisa gets to swim in the youth final. See if she can make the most of it. We've had a number of people coming in from reserves into the finals this evening, and really stretching it out and doing even better. So let's see if Louisa can follow suit here. So let's see where we get to. Strong start in lane 3, Louisa. So she's really made the most of this.
And the timings on the walls and butterfly in particular are so important. You don't really get away with half strokes on butterfly. You really need that. The timing into the walls is really everything, and Louisa absolutely nailed that first turn.
So momentum really important, isn't it, going in and out of those turns. If you glide in, you're going to struggle to get the momentum out.
Again, if you can try and make it one fluid motion, you're touching and rotating and round, and you see the absolute elites there. Really got it down to a T.
That was a Stoddart 1-2 at the 50. It was Helen in 8 and Louisa in 3, and it's still a Stoddart 1-2. But Louisa, who has come in as a reserve, is absolutely smashing this. She did a 107 this morning, and she's still ahead. And a nice shot there from the other side of the pool, showing Louisa in the front. And is she going to hang on? It's lane 6, it's Stella McCarty, but I think it is going to be Louisa. So she comes in as a reserve, 107 in the heat this morning, 104.18 in the final. That is what you call making the most of your opportunities.
Certainly is. I wonder what was going through her head there in the prep, knowing that she got that swim. You know, maybe it's just sped up her preparation process, and maybe adrenaline's pumping a little bit, and she's absolutely blitzed that.
What a swim. Just checking to see what her time into the heats was. So she was a 104 entry into the event, 104.98. So I think the swimming this morning was probably a bit of a disappointment, but she's absolutely
still nearly
taken the opportunity here.
0.8 improvement from her entry time anyway. If that
absolutely,
was around her PB.
Fantastic. So we're now into a B final. Amy Hutchison in lane 1, City of Glasgow. Heidi Wren lane 2. In lane 3, Imra Bella Thorpe from Edinburgh Uni. In 4, Meg Finnan, University of Stirling. In 5, Katie Taylor, City of Glasgow. In lane 6, Lauren Patterson, Edinburgh University. Abigail Stemp from Edinburgh University in 7. And Gabriella Lessing from Ren 96 in lane 8. So 23 down to 14, so 9 years age difference in this field. Youngest Heidi Wren in 2, Meg Finnan 23 in 4, and it's lane 3, Imara Bella Thorpe. But it's pretty much in a line really across the 8 of them. Hard to choose as they come in with 50.
They will be lane 4, Meg, just.
So 0.6 up on the swim in the first youth final, and she's just pulled away on that turn. Also lane 1 going strong, Emmy Hutchison.
Yeah, very high rate there from Meg. Hope she can hold on to that for the last 25.
And it's on her outside. Katie Taylor going strong as well. She's moved into open water swimming, Katie, longer distance, but she's going well on the fly. Showing a bit of strength here, but it's going to be Meg Finnan in 101.95. Katie Taylor does get second, 102.78, and in 103.27 for Amara. So that'll be a nice swim for Megan.
Nice to dip under into the 101s. Again, that barrier breaking through.
Absolutely.
Speaking of barriers, in the next event, multiple swimmers under that 60 mark. And even to the 58s, and there's more capable of it as well. So this will be a very interesting race.
Looking forward to this one. As they walk over there, as you can see them in the screen. So we've got Kaya Alcaraz from Aberdeen Performance in 1. Lucy Grieve, youngster from South Ayrshire in lane 2. Ciara Schlossen from Edinburgh University in 3. Tane Bruce, Edinburgh University in 4. Kiana McInnes, University of Stirling in 5. Yasmin Perry from Aberdeen Performance in 6. Jennifer King, University of Stirling in lane 7. And Madeline Robertson from Kronos in lane 8. As I just learned this afternoon that Kronos is a Spanish team. Madeline's living in Spain at the moment, but Scottish parents. Name of Robertson, that's not surprising.
It'll be interesting, lots of different takes here. We've got Lucy Grieve, the sprint specialist in the 50, Ciara Schlossen more 200, and Tane Bruce very much 100 specialist. So you'll have different approaches here. Lucy potentially going out very fast, trying to hang on, and Ciara relying on her back end, and Tane kind of an all-rounder for both ends there. So lots of different tactics, and you cannot discount Kiana McInnes as well. Again, that 200 background.
Absolutely. This should be, you'd think there's five swimmers in this at least as a minimum. now standing up for this race next to me, wondering if he's getting ready to start the race as well. So let's see how this transpires. As Jack said, a number of sprinters and 200s converging in the 100, and as he predicted, Lucy Grieve in lane 2, the sprint specialist, got the Scottish junior record yesterday, I think, in the 50 fly sprint, and she's taken this one out. Nice turn there, lane 4. Tame Bruce.
She's really been maximising her walls, working that all season. Again, the timings around here are crucial.
Oh, nailed the turn there, Tane. 27.36. Very close though, still not much between them. 0.3 between the first 3, but it is Tane who's really taken this one out.
Again, potentially Ciara Sloshin coming through here, relying on her 200 background. Kiana potentially as well.
But yeah, you see there 10 metres out for Tane, and she's really got this one, and it looks like she's not going to get beaten. Lucy Grieve coming back very strongly in lane 2. She was out fast for the 50 and has come back on this fourth 50 for 25, and it's 58.09 for Tane, 58.88 for Lucy Grieve, 59.05 for Kiana McInnes. So all 5 of those girls under 60 seconds. Tame Bruce taking that.
Looking actually a little bit disappointed there. I think she'll be a bit annoyed with a glided finish there. Probably took away the potential for a 57, but again, backing up a very strong heat swim. Again, like I said earlier, backing up strong heats into strong finals puts you in a much better position for more contested competitions. But I think that was a big drop for Lucy Grieve.
I think so. She was in 59.7 entry in the morning swim, so that's pretty much nearly a second. So she'll be pleased with that, hopefully. So we're moving into the men's 100 metres breaststroke. Again, 3 events, 3 races here. We've got a youth final first, so let's give you the swimmers in that. We've got Murray Pritchard from Perth City in 1. Conor Mitchell, Warren de Baths in 2. In 3, from Warren de Baths, Mika van Blerk. Matthew Garrity from Inverclyde in 4. Emil Maraski from Warrender in 5. Sam Harrison, Perth City in 6. Luke Hornsey from East Lothian in 7. And Kieran Breshner in lane 8 from Aberdeen Dolphin. Talking about versatility, Luke Hornsey just swam a 1500 metres freestyle half an hour ago, and he's now in here doing 100 metres breaststroke. It's pretty versatile, I think.
I used to dabble on the 1500/200 breaststroke. 1500 free, 200 breaststroke. It's not really a thing, but
so he's following in your footsteps. So lane 1's actually gone out pretty fast. Murray Pritchard from Perth City, but in a good turn there from Matthew Garrity in 4 as well, and lane 5, Emil Maraski. So this is all happening on the far side of the pool, 1 to 5. No, it's just Matthew, 30.31, 2 100s ahead of Emil. So this is building up to a really strong last 50 here in the youth final of the 100 breaststroke. And Emil and Matthew are pretty much stroke for stroke. Matthew and Emil turning pretty much together with 25 to go. Matthew comes out stronger on the last turn, but Emil is not going to let him get away. And it's very close here. Mika in lane 3, but I think Matthew's just going to edge this. A very strong last 25, 104.02, followed by Emil in a 104.32 in second, and his teammate Mika van Blerk 105.6. So that's nice race there.
Yeah, big drop for third place there, in over a second, and again the 4 and 5 half seconds respectively.
So following up some good heat swims with some good final swims. Mentioned there Conor Mitchell, only 14. So he went under 107 for the first time. And we're going to move into the B final now. So in this one we have in lane 1, Don Bissett from University of Stirling. In lane 2, Andrew Arthur, University of Stirling. In 3, Greg Fairbairn, also University of Stirling. Yusuf Betu from City of Glasgow in 4. Thomas Cannon in University of Stirling in 5. Joshua Mitchell, Edinburgh Uni in 6, Hugh Takamoto from Edinburgh Uni in 7, and Charlie Trotman, also Edinburgh Uni, in lane 8.
The lonely City of Glasgow in lane 4. Well, almost rooting for him to step up and take on the 2 titans that are Stirling and Edinburgh.
Well, he's got the fastest qualifying time, so he's well placed to do that. So he's coming out ahead on that start, making the most of the dive. looking strong.
Very strong first 25 there for Yusuf.
He went out strong in the heat this morning as well. So getting a bird's eye view, and it is Yusuf, 28.71. So that's a nice first 50 there. Out on his outside, Thomas Cannon. Very similar strokes really, and it is still Yusuf with Thomas. They seem to have stretched away slightly from the rest of the field. See who has the legs and the rhythm in this last 25. Still Yusuf. Tom is really pushing back on him though. This is going to be very close. It's all down to the who times it well in the wall. And it's Thomas, I think. 102.27, 1/100th ahead of Yusuf Betu, 102.28. And Greg Fairbairn in third place, 102.76.
Solid effort there from Yusuf, but yeah, just marginal in the finish there. I mean, he stepped up this morning and he's backed up a good performance, but again, that touch there, I think if you really need to throw yourself forward at that wall, particularly in breaststroke, you see these little half strokes being the marginal differences.
So let's see if the final can be as close as that B final. In this we have William Ellington from University of Stirling in 1, Nicholas Quinn, Edinburgh University in 2, Ross Young, Edinburgh University in 3, in 4 from City of Glasgow, similar pattern to the B final here. City of Glasgow's Craig Benson in 4, Edinburgh University Eugene Cook in 5, Callum Melville, very exciting youngster from Nova Centurion, in 7. We have Rory Dixon from the University of Stirling and Robert Bryce, Aberdeen Dolphin, in lane 8. So Callum Melville has done a Scottish age group record in every race he's done this weekend.
Yeah, dipping under that 61 barrier is a huge, huge deal. Particularly at 15 years of age, that is a very impressive barrier to break. See if he can back that up again with a performance tonight.
He's certainly got good swimmers next to him in Craig Benson and Eugene Cook to pull him along. So let's see how this... Craig, another one of these experienced swimmers who's managing to combine carrying on swimming with working life as well. So
he is indeed. He's focusing primarily on the 50 actually these days. That's his big focus for next year. But again, it's good training opportunity, and you know, he's still putting in a solid performance this morning with 59.2. If you can get close to that 58, I mean,
plenty of swimmers in the world would be happy with a 58 for 100 breaststroke. So here we go. This is into the final. 15 to 27, so quite an age difference here. And it's a strong start in lane 5 from Eugene, but it's still very close. Both guys really judging that first turn very well.
Eugene is an absolute rate machine, really to sustain it, but that's his style and that's how he currently works, and it makes it, maximises it.
Yeah, stroke for stroke here. Yeah, 1/100th between them on the turn. Eugene just 100th ahead of Craig.
Eugene actually just went quicker there in his first 50 than he did last night in individual 50, so he's absolutely on fire.
So let's see. Craig though really coming in the walls, very strong.
Oh, it was a good turn there from Eugene.
Absolutely, so this is building up to a really strong finish. Craig though is not giving up, is he? And he's really edging. It's all down to the timing here. Oh, and it is Craig Benson, 59.05. 59.21 from Eugene in second, and Nicholas Quinn just edging third. 100.27. Callum Melville. Huge
record again. Half a second improvement from his performance this morning. We almost missed it there. We're too focused in the front. Again, wow. Junior British short course record as well. He's just beat the British record.
Wow. What a swim from Callum. He's having quite a weekend already.
Huge performance.
So moving into the next 50 metres, it's the women's 50 metres freestyle. We have a youth final again in here. In this youth final we've got Julie Horn from City of Glasgow in lane 1, Natasha Simpson from Warren de Baths in 2, Ariana Stokes from Tynemouth in 3. Elise Cousins from Perth City in 4. Millie Milne from Warren de Baths in 5. Katrina Stewart, Weston Barton in 6. Melissa Mainwaring from West Lothian in 7. And Georgina Hawkins, Millfield School in lane 8. So Melissa Mainwaring had that great 200 IM in the youth final swimming in lane 1, winning it. So she's back again in this 50 freestyle. We've got interesting. We've got a different swimmer in the Anna Green in lane 3, according to the screen in the pool. So we'll go with that one.
Yeah, it's not even a reserve, 1 or 2. Not sure what's happened there.
So Jory Horn, Natasha Simpson, Anna Green, Elise Cousins, Ariana Stokes, Katrina Stewart, Melissa Mainwaring and Georgina Hawkins. It's lane 4 from Ellie Cousins from Perth City, 26.97, being followed by lane 3 Anna Green, and in lane 5 Ariana Stokes, and it's 26.53 there for Elise. Ariana Stokes in lane 5, 26.81, and in 3rd was Melissa Mainwaring. So having on the back of her strong 200 IM swim earlier, she's now come 3rd in the 26.95 for the 50 free as well. So that's a nice improvement, half a second on her morning swim. So she's had a good, productive evening swimming, Melissa.
Does indeed. A couple other drops in that race as well. Just a couple tenths here and there. It's good to see in the 50. It's hard to back up from the morning swims. You can be so close to your best in the morning in the 50.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday. It was most of the fast 50s were done in the morning, and the swimmers were struggling to repeat it in the evening, going all out. And we've got the B final here. Millie Milne in 1, Nicole Rickey in 2, Elvie Mason in 3, Zoe Gooden in 4, Kira Stricker in 5, Ava Simpson in 6, and Vicky Russell in lane 7.
Yeah, Nicole, another international from Edinburgh, more known for 1500, but here we are, down in the 50.
So Kira Stricker going strong in this first 25, teammate of Lucy Grieve. And got a fast start like Lucy. So it's pretty close though across all 7 girls. I'm not going to call this one. You going to have a go at this, Jack?
Oh yeah, I think it is going to be Kira coming into the wall. Oh, it is indeed, just.
Nice call.
Great race.
26.38.
Testament to the programme Byron's putting together at South Aberdeen. There's a real fast twitch going on there with the likes of Lucy and Kira.
So nice improvement on her heat time. So we get in second, 26.54. Vicky Russell, 26.72 in 3rd. So we're moving on to the women's 50 free final. And this should be pretty good as well. We've got Lucy Grieve, just out of the 100 free in lane 1. South Ayrshire, Drew McKenzie, City of Glasgow in 2. Katie Goodburn, University of Edinburgh in 3. Emma Russell, University of Stirling in 4. Tane Bruce, just out of 100 free as well in lane 5. Katie Robertson, University of Edinburgh in 6. Yasmin Perry, Aberdeen Performance in lane 7. And in lane 8, Saskia Wade. So half of this final have not long got out of their women's 100 fly final. Do you think that'll have any impact on how they get on here?
Yeah, well, it can be a priming opportunity for the athletes in particular. They've had just enough time to maybe regroup, recover, get the clothes back on, recompose themselves. It could be activated enough, and I think you will see some of them capitalise on that opportunity. But don't discount Katie Goodburn. She's in good form, and Katie Robertson as well, and they're coming in fresh into this event, so it'll be interesting to see the balance here. Okay, so let's see Emma Russell fastest from the heats. Not far behind her though was Katie and Tane. So let's see where we get to. 2 lengths of pool. So there we go on the start. Good start from, well, all of them really.
Not much in it there. Maybe lane 2 just slightly behind the rest of them, but strong start from Katie in 5. Sorry, Tame Bruce in lane 5 has had a
very good turn.
Yeah, and Emma Russell in 4 and Katie Goodburn in 5. But Tyne has really used that 100 fly as a nice warm up to this 50 free.
Whoa.
And she takes it 25.13. Second, 25.26 is Emma Russell, and Katie Goodburn edges in third in 25.48. So a nice improvement for Katie. Emma slightly down in her morning swim, and Tyne Bruce slight improvement on the morning, so that's pretty close.
Yeah, another PB for Tyne. Again, really close, that 24 point. I think Katie and Katie respectively will be pleased with those swims. Katie Goodburn in particular I think was a bit disappointed, so I think she'll be pleased to get down there. Good race. Again,
absolutely.
Great to see for the freestyle opportunities next year, for the relays, all to play for.
Absolutely. So we're moving on to another 50 metre race here. It's the youth 50 metres backstroke. There was a time swim off for this earlier on with Travis Davies. So Greer van der Meulen, lane 1 from Stirling Swimming. Andrew Brodie, Aberdeen Dolphins in 2. Dean Fern, very promising youngster from South Aberdeen in 3. Ewan McLeod, Shiverers in 4. Lucas Brown from Elgin in 5. Owen Carroll, Perth City in 6. Kieran Breschner from Aberdeen Dolphin in 7. And it is Travis Davey, Dundee City Aquatics in lane 8.
And it is Dean Fern this morning, broke a record, 13-year-old record, 13 age group record I should say, in a time of 27.1. So let's see if he can push that on again. 13 years old, getting close to that 26 is
quite remarkable, really. Absolutely. And he's been very good on the 50s. And pretty much all the ones he's done this weekend, I think he's managed to lower either his own or somebody else's Scottish age group record. See if he can do that again this evening. And they're off. See if they can make the most of their underwaters. Lane 4, very fast, Ewan McLeod from Shiverers, taking it out here, pretty close across the rest of the field.
Dean will be doing well to hold on to his shoulder. Ewan next to him.
Lane 5, Lucas Brown as well. But it's Ewan McLeod first, 26.48. In second was Lucas Brown, 26.64. And Dean Fern betters again his Scottish age group record with a 27.04. Just out. Well, it gives him something to go for next year to get under 27, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, again, so close to that barrier, but he can't be disappointed with that. 2 records back to back. 2 records back to back in the heat and the final, and stepping up with these more experienced older swimmers. Again, great prospect for the future. Backstroke, got great pedigree of backstroke in Scotland, and we've got a few of those characters coming up.
Yeah,
an exciting A final, but prior to that we've got the B final.
Indeed, and in this B final we have Jude Lydiard from Edinburgh Uni in 1, Stephen Clegg, Edinburgh University in 2, Jamie Ferguson, Aberdeen Performance in 3, Brogan Hyde, University of Stirling in 4, Cameron Travis, Aberdeen Performance in 5, Ian Rose, Warren de Bath in 6, Oscar Smiley, University of Stirling in 7, and Rise Worley from University of Stirling in lane 8.
We've got lane 2, Stephen Clegg is in the S12 category, recipient of the Paralympic Athlete of the Year, so that's visually impaired for S12. And again, he's going for a potential record here. We'll wait and see if he can get close. But
so what is the time we're looking for there?
So the time is 26.15. He beats his time from this morning.
Okay, so see where we get to after the start. Strong start in lane 4 and lane 1 there. And Oscar in lane 7 has gone strong. Pretty much all in a line as they come out of that first turn. Lane 4, very strong is Brogan Hyde. Cameron Travis beside him. And it's going to be Brogan. Let's see, keep an eye on Stephen as well. So Brogan gets it. Cameron Travis 25.84, Jamie Ferguson 25.88, and Stephen Clegg equals. So well, does that count as another world record? I think it probably does, doesn't it?
It does, he's done it twice.
So well done to him. So another equal world record there, just to confirm the 1, 2, 3, Brogan Hyde in 25.68, Cameron Travis second, 25.84, Jamie Ferguson 400s behind him, 25.88, so strong swimming there, and a reiterate there, another equaling world record for Stephen Clegg in the S12 category. And we move on now to the A final, and in this A final, in lane 1 we have Sam Pease from University of Stirling, Mark Ford, City of Glasgow in lane 2, Craig McNally of University of Stirling in 3. New Scottish senior record holder Scott Gibson in Edinburgh Uni in 4, Martin Walton, be a good race with him in University of Stirling in 5, Zach Speakman, University of Stirling in 6, Jamie Robertson, also University of Stirling in 7, and Conor Massey, Aberdeen Performance in lane 8.
Again, they're going to have to look out here for this first 15. It can be so marginal. All these boys will be taking right to the 15 marker off the start, and even off the turn you'll be seeing them going past the 10 metre point, really maximising the underwater. Backstroke in particular is more of an underwater battle than it is the actual stroke itself.
30 metres under, 20 metres on top.
It's going to be very tight looking at this morning's performances between Scott and Martin. Do not discredit Craig McNally with 24.3. That could be right in and amongst it.
So I think Martin's PB is actually under 23, isn't it? So if he can get on that, we're in for a cracker.
I think they both PB'd this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
both those times are personal best.
Very good.
So
let's see what we get for the final. Scott went out very strong this morning. You could see he had a mission on his mind, so see if he repeats that this afternoon.
Yeah, he had it in his targets for over a year. Again, challenge from the outside. Stirling Edinburgh sandwich.
So strong underwaters there from all of them, and it's the two guys in the centre. Scott Gibson again, really fast rate, turns in first. Martin Moulton not too far behind. Oh, and a really strong turn from Martin there, and it's all to play for, and this is going to be very tight. It's all on the touch. Oh, 24 dead for Martin Walton, 24.04 for Scott Gibson, and 24.26 Craig McNally. Very tight swim there.
So Scott's record is safe, but Martin Walton marginal there. That was a really good performance, and McNally dropping from this morning's swim.
Yeah.
Very fast swimming again with Zach and Mark Ford behind, not too far away.
No, Mark Ford under the 25 there. I'm not sure he's done that before.
A huge amount under the 25, over half a second.
18-year-old Mark, so that's a great swim there. All those guys in that race. So moving on to a slightly different pace now. Women's 200 breaststroke, but should be good racing here as well. In lane 1 in this B final we have Anne Hutchison from Edinburgh University. In lane 2, Louise Edmonds from Royal Wolverhampton in 3, Bridget Lemazurier from Edinburgh University, Kira Davidson from City of Glasgow in 4, Nuala Gow from Gary in 5, Lucy Stoves, Dundee City Aquatics in 6, and Conrada McGregor, Warren de Baths in lane 7.
Yeah, 200 breaststroke short course is a real hypoxic challenge. And the maximising the opportunities off the walls, really long glide phases. By the last 2 lengths, your lungs will be burning. But again, if you can really make the most of that and train yourself to be as efficient as possible around these walls short course, you can put yourself in a great position.
So let's see if these women can meet that. So as they approach the first turn, not much between them really. Lane 4, that's Kira Davidson from City of Glasgow. On her inside is Bridget Lemazurier from Edinburgh University, but it's still pretty tight as they come into this first 50. 34.5. Not much between the first 3 there, and they're starting to pull away, the 3 of them, from the rest of the field just slightly. So still the 3 really.
Nice long stroke there from Kier, really powerful kick, maximising that glide phase as much as possible. Bridget, lane 3, also doing well to stay in touch. It's a good turn there actually. Again, Kira nearly half a second ahead.
So Bridget seems to be coming back in between the walls, and Kira getting good technical off the walls. So again, the three of them, not much between them at all.
Bridget potentially making a bit of a move there for the last 25.
Yeah, she's come out ahead. So let's see what they have left in them for the last 50. And it is Bridget, I think, just coming in, making a move with 50 to go. Just only a couple of tenths so ahead of Kira. Good turn from Kira there, so she's not letting Bridget get away. Looking like she's working hard up this 25. And as they come with a turn to go, it is absolutely together. Slightly faster turnaround from Kira there.
And the pull out there going to Bridget potentially. It's going to be very close.
And don't discount lane 5. Nuala Gow as well, who's really come back as this last 25. Very, very close as they come into the wall. And it may well be Nuala, who has not led at all, and she bets it when it matters. 2:33.86 for Nuala. Great timing there. Edging out. But the screen has gone. So, unfortunately, 2 disqualifications there in lanes 1 and 7 for technical infractions. Doesn't affect the first 3 though. Nuala Gow, 2:33.86. Absolutely perfectly timed 200 breaststroke. Kira Davidson, 2:34.02.
Nuala paced that.
Bridget Limsey.
Nuala paced that so well, really well paced. But again, touching with one hand or two hand. We saw controversial decisions with Lily King at the ISL recently. Again, the breaststroke events can be quite contentious for disqualifications, but again, it really maximises or highlights the importance of your skills around the walls.
Absolutely, and there's a bit of a controversy around that Lily King disqualification, I think.
It was indeed.
Got to be a confident technical official to call her out, I would think, but I'm sure they knew what they were doing. So Erin Robertson in lane 1 from Edinburgh University in 2, Cara Hanlon, Edinburgh University in 3, Euler Adams from Aberdeen Performance, Annabelle Guy Johnson, Edinburgh Uni in 4, Ailsa MacDonald, Edinburgh Uni in 5, Katie Robertson from Edinburgh Uni in 6, Katie Shanahan, City of Glasgow in 7, and Yvonne Brown from Aberdeen Performance in 8. So this should be a good race, I think. Very close from the morning swims. Some of the swimmers may have been slightly holding back. A number of them have got faster PBs in this morning swims, but let's see where we get to on this final.
Yeah, well, I think Cara's got a substantially faster PB than she posted this morning.
Yeah.
They also had a great 200 medley and 400 medley. Katie Robertson's been on fantastic form. Katie Shanahan fresh off the back of ISL. She's got that medley endurance in the 400. She was dabbling on the 50 breaststroke as well. It really could go to a multitude of lanes here, and Annabelle Guy Johnson stepping up from the heats in lane 4, potentially a bit of a surprise.
So Cara Hanlon came into the meet with a 2:24, so see whether she was just pacing the heats this morning. So as all the promise, is a good race here. Orla Adams, so lane 6, Katie Robertson. She's traditionally known as a breaststroker, but she's really picked up on her freestyle since going to Edinburgh University, but still maintaining the breaststroke here, looking strong in lane 6 starting.
Yeah, her butterfly as well has been coming on, but Katie is really good around the wall. She maximises the distance with her pull out and the breakout especially. The efficiency is really key on the breaststroke.
Taking out Katie Shanahan with her, and in fact Katie Shanahan turned first, 32.69. Off to the world short course next week, I think, Katie.
Yeah, she'll be in her preparation phases, potentially tapering down a bit now. Again, we've got Cara Hanlon in the top of the screen there, up in lane 2, and Annabelle still holding on in the middle there for that third place fight, battle with Cara, her teammate.
And it's Katie Shanahan who's just edging as they come up to the 100s. Bit of a surprise on this one, maybe?
Yeah, Katie's been on great form, and Katie Shanahan especially, she has a lot of racing exposure recently, so she'll be building upon that. And a PB swim in her 50 breaststroke yesterday by a huge margin, so again she's putting that into practice here in the 200.
Got to be good for her IM, getting this breaststroke stronger and stronger, and she's certainly taking this out. Cara Hanlon maybe just creeping up on her out there in lane 2. Won't be aware of each other, I wouldn't think.
The only opportunity here would be looking across the pool, depending which way they rotate towards, but again very far across, almost opposite sides of the pool here. Katie Robertson still doing well, and again in the centre lane, Annabelle Guy-Johnson still holding on.
So they both looked at each other that turn, so they'll know they're there. See who's got the sprint at the end, and it's still Katie Shanahan with Katie Robertson and Cara Hanlon. And so Katie Shanahan still got the edge on Cara, but Cara is coming back very strongly, and it's going to be a really close one here as we go with 25 to go. Cara's straight out the turn, much quicker than Katie, and see where Cara's coming through. It does look like Cara has really pushed on in this last 50, but Katie Shanahan's still in it as well, so we're going to very close finish, all on the touch, and it's Katie Shanahan we didn't get a touch from Cara, so it did look like Katie Shanahan. 2:24.59, so that is a massive improvement for her. Cara Hanlon comes in 2:24.73, so back to where she came in entering, and Katie Robertson, I think, probably really working well with Katie Shanahan there. I suspect helped her along.
So that's actually a 17-year-old age group record there for Katie Shanahan. Huge performance. I think she dropped her time by, I don't think she'd been in the 2:20s before.
It's unbelievable. She is quite a talent, isn't she?
But again, even Katie Robertson, I think that was a big personal best. And Cara Hanlon, I think her personal best is around that 23. So
2:24.7 was her entry time, Cara. Just Katie Robertson came in on a 2:28, so nice improvement. And Katie Shannon was 2:31 before she came into this meet, so 7 seconds isn't a bad improvement.
Yeah, well, she's been working well with Danielle across at Glasgow there. They've clearly been making huge improvements on her breaststroke leg, likely, as you said, for that 400 medley performance.
Got to stand her in good stead for that. So we're moving now into the 200 fly. This is the B final. In this one we have Mark Innes from Edinburgh University in 1, Scott Fleming, East Kilbride in 2, Matthew McMillan from Incas in 3, Callum Reid, Edinburgh Uni in 4, Tom Robertson, Aberdeen Dolphins in 5, Evan Davidson back in again, Dundee City Aquatics in 6, Stefan Kravitz, East Lothian in 7, and Travis Davey, Dundee City Aquatics in 8. It's the B final. This should be a good race. Some really good youngsters in here, as well as Callum Reid, who's, don't think he would mind me saying, no longer a youngster, but still absolutely pulling the swims out.
A very strong start there from Callum. He's only been back in training for a couple of months now, believe it or not. He's been doing more land-based stuff, but he's been putting technical practice into work with Jen Davies at Edinburgh, one of the coaches, new coaches for Edinburgh University, and he's, again, the experience coming through here.
Absolutely.
He's potentially going a little bit too hard here.
Do wonder if he's not been around in the pool for very long, but you know, he's been at this for a long time. He's been swimming at this level for a good 10 years, Callum, so Stefan Kravitz, maybe lane 7, coming through as well. Excellent youngster's got a number of 15-year-old age group records. Absolutely nailed his 100 free right the first day in the heats, 50 points. And it is Callum Reid 58.57, 59.9 for Stefan. So this third 50 all important in this 200 fly. I was with Scott Goby this afternoon. He was saying 200 fly is all about who doesn't slow down the most rather than who speeds up. So let's hope Callum Reid manages not to slow down so much, but he's really taken this one out here in this first 150. That's really impressive.
He's really gone from it.
1:30.81.
Still holding on.
Let's really hope he can keep this going in this last 50. Very tough going if your arms start to go. And it's him with Stefan Kravitz really pushing along. Stefan's having a nice strong swim here. He could just looked over to see Callum Reid. Got him in his sights in this last 25. But Callum has really had a cracking swim. He's looking, same stroke all the way through, looking a bit tired now, but he's got enough to hold on. And he's got a nice uplift on his heat time, 2:04.89. So that's a really nice swim there. 2:57 for Stefan Tom Robertson third in a 2:06:39. So nice swimming there from Callum Reid 26 all the way through to Steven 15 and Tom Robertson 16. Evan Davidson 2:08:51 for 14-year-old. That's not bad going. Improves on his time this morning.
Not a million miles away from the record as well.
Very good. So we're now moving into the A final here. In this we have in lane 1 Benjamin Chewin from Edinburgh University, and 2 Callum Rose from Warren Baths. Gregor Swinney, City of Glasgow in 3, Igor Suvalov in lane 4 from Edinburgh Uni, Ellesmere College, Andrew Bertoli in 5, Albert Bangan from University of Stirling in 6, Peter Allen, University of Stirling in 7, and Mark Elric, City of Glasgow in lane 8.
Yeah, huge performance this morning from Igor from Edinburgh. He's the Estonian 18-age-year-old national champion fairly recently, and I think that was a huge lifetime best to drop into the 159. So if he can get close to that again, I think he'll be very happy.
Yeah, Chris was telling me he was very disappointed with the 400 medley swim he had yesterday, and decided to give it his all in this 200 fly, and went out very strong, held on, and went under the 2 minutes for the first time. So that's got to be a good marker for this afternoon. So it's so Igor only just ahead in lead in the times in here to Andrew Bertoli 17. Andrew went a very even swum. He went a 59 for his first 100 and 61 for his second 100 this morning. So you'd kind of think he's got something in the locker for this afternoon. But let's see where we get to.
Again, like Scott said, it's just how long you can sustain that pace, that speed in the fly, and how much you can hang on when the shoulders really start to burn.
Absolutely.
But it's a fantastic start up in lane number 3 there.
Yeah, Gregor Swinney going very strongly indeed.
Igor right there with him in that first 25.
Yeah. So I think Gregor so in there first we've got Igor Suvalov 26.30. So let's see how this, he's really taken it now, hasn't he? So Gregor Swinney on his inside, but Igor is pretty much taking the rest of them on.
Yeah, he's powering away there, really powerful stroke. He's getting a huge pull there with his arms, sustaining his body position with the legs there. Well, if he can keep this up, he's well on track.
Yeah, so that's a 56.44 there. So that's still strong third 50 here from Igor. Second is outside of Andrew Bertoli, the 17-year-old.
Yeah, Andrew's hunting now. He
really is
hooking onto that lane line. You can see that there. He's moved across.
And given his swim this morning, you can see that he's going to come back strong, I think.
Igor's put it all on the line in this first 150.
Absolutely has, but Andrew is not giving up. He is absolutely sticking with him. See if he's got it in the last 25.
It's looking like a down to the wire finish here.
Yeah, Andrew's really going hard. He had a good 200 free earlier on under the 150 for the first time. I think Igor's just going to hold on, but it's going to be tight, and it is Igor in a 158.63, taking 159 Andrew in second. And in third place was a 2:01.77.
You can confirm that as 17 as a national age group record. 17-year-old there for Andrew Bertoli.
Well done, Andrew.
400ths under the old time.
Oof.
Huge performance there, again dropping massively, as well as Igor again over a full second drop from what was a surprise performance this morning.
Absolutely. So that was good. Good swimming there from the first three. Igor Suvalov first. Andrew Bertoli second. So we've got the next is the youth 100 backstroke in lane 1, Ciara Gillespie from Aberdeen Performance, in 2, Katie Rose, Warren Bass, in 3, Lucy Stowes from Dundee City Aquatics, Ella Stevenson from Bellshill Sharks in 4, Amy Shields, City of Glasgow in 5, Hayley Armstrong, East Lothian in 6, Maria Howe from Aberdeen Performance in 7, and Emma McGavin is in lane 8, and we've got a shift in lane. Sienna, yeah, so Sienna Perry has come in for Amy Shields in lane 5. So one of the reserves getting a swim here. They've got a good track record of reserves coming in and nailing it. So let's see if Sienna can do that as well.
Yeah, no pressure, Sienna.
So let's see where we get to on this. So pretty in a line. Good start from Katie Rose in lane 2. Lucy Stove on her inside. Lane 4, we have got Sienna, and she's living up to form. No, it's lane 5, Sienna, sorry, but still not far off. So it's pretty close along the line here.
Yeah, Sienna actually slipped off the blocks there off the start. She slipped down though, so she's been making up for a bit of lost time in the first 25.
So we've got Ella Stevenson, lane 4, 31.78. Lucy Stove behind her. And it's still pretty close for the rest of them. So let's see what we can get in this final 50. But I don't think there's any doubt that Ella is in there as the winner of this heat in lane 4. Sienna as a reserve again in lane 5 is coming through strong, but it's still strong across the field. And it's going to be lane 6 maybe is Ailey Armstrong. Katie Rose coming through very strongly in lane 2 at the end there. And she gets second in a 106.36 from Ella Stevenson in first in a 105.03. And in third is Ailey Armstrong, 106.43.
That was a Craig McNally-esque in the last 25 there from Katie. Huge rate. Oh, great performance there from Katie.
That was good. So Ailey Armstrong in third, 106.43. And we're going to move now on to the B final. And in this B final we have Heidi Wren, City of Glasgow in 1, Kiana Kurtzer from Warren de Baths in 2, Ava Simpson from Edinburgh Uni in 3, Kate Butler from Edinburgh Uni in 4, Ellie Turner, University of Stirling in 5, Rebecca Reid, Aberdeen in 6, Olivia Butler, Edinburgh Uni in 7, and Kira Sterica, South Ayrshire in lane 8. 102 to 104 here.
Again, a youngster there making it through to the B final, and Kiana, 13 years old from Warrender.
Yeah, the age group record for the 13 is 103.17, I think, so she's not too far off that.
Yeah, it would be a big ask to get down
Very
to that.
big ask, and I think that was off a 65 down to 63 from the heat. But you never know, there's been some pretty impressive drop downs today already. Oh, what a great start though with lane 4, Kate Butler, Edinburgh Uni. So she's taken this one out, lane 6. Rebecca Reid as well. Still pretty close. And a nice turnout again, lane 6. So that's Rebecca Reid from Aberdeen. Very steady head there in lane 4 from Kate. 29.75.
Yeah, 8 kicks there from Kate off the wall, breaking it just past the 10 metres, really making the most out of those walls.
Absolutely.
A big challenge from Ava, 1 lane up.
Yeah, it's looking like a nice last 25 here. And really it is between Kate and Ava. And also outside her you've got Ellie Turner, University of Stirling, and Rebecca Reid from Aberdeen. And it's coming out and it's still lane 4 just, but Ava's really coming back and it's all in the touch. And it's just Kate Butler, 101.92 in lane 2. In lane 3, sorry, second was Ava Simpson. 10th of a second behind in 102.01, and in third place Ellie Turner. But we have the dreaded screen, so we're just going to wait to see what happens here. Hopefully this is just a time confirmation rather than a disqualification. Still awaiting it. Nerve-wracking times when you're a swimmer, waiting for this screen to confirm that you're not the one. So whilst we're waiting for confirmation, this is one of the races I've been looking forward to, this A final of the women's 100 backstroke. Absolutely stacked talent in backstroke and female backstroke in Scotland at the moment. And this is going to be a really, really good swim. So there we go.
Safe.
Fortunately, no DQs, everyone's safe. So Kate Butler, 101.92, Ava Simpson second, 102.01, and Ellie Turner, 102.87.
Yeah, I think it was a wrong time there. I think it was Kiana Courts was down. I saw her time was registered as a 1:05.4.
Yeah,
so
1:04.59 there.
Yeah, so that was the incorrect timing there. It might have been an override from one of the marshals behind the blocks there potentially.
Looks like it. So as we get into this final here, in lane 1, Scarlett Ferris from Dundee City Aquatics, Rachel Saunders, Warren de Baths in lane 2, Joanna Sacha from Edinburgh University in 3, Jennifer King, University of Stirling in 4, Emily Grant, Aberdeen Performance in 5, Anna Green, Warren de Baths in 6, Holly McGill, Hada Midlothian in 7, and in lane 8, Ella Shields, Edinburgh University. So this should be a good race.
Yeah, Jennifer King coming across from I think she was in America doing a Masters, back at Stirling again, training, racing alongside some likes of Kathleen and Cassie. Like you said, some stellar performances coming through in Scottish backstroke in the last 3-4 years.
Absolutely. Got 3 16-year-olds here, all at the top of their game. Rachel Saunders, Anna Green and Holly McGill, as well as the 3 20-somethings in between them all. So another mix of youth and experience again in one of these finals here, which is good to see.
Yeah, great opportunity for the youngsters to mix alongside such experience. Joanna, the 200 backstroke winner from yesterday, set her national Greek record.
Yeah.
See if she can translate that into the 100.
Good IM earlier. And we're off. So let's see who. Good start there from Jennifer, but really still much in a line. Not much between them. Maybe lane 5. Emily Grant, Aberdeen Performance, has got possibly the best first 50 here and a really strong kick out. Emily Grant, either side of her, Anna Green on her outside, Jennifer King on her inside, but it's been a really strong start from Jennifer. Emily, sorry. Second is Joanna, third is Jennifer, so it's still the middle 3 lanes. Anna Green the fastest so far of the 16-year-olds. Let's see how this pans out, but it's still Emily Grant. Bit of a surprise maybe that she's leading the way, but absolutely flying here on her inside. We've got Jennifer King coming strong and also Joanna Sacha, and it's very close here. Anna Green close up with them, and Holly Gill coming back very strongly as well as we get to the end here, and it is Joanna Sacha really coming in on that last 25, timing it perfectly. 1:00.54. Yeah. Emily Grant second, 1:09.92, and Anna Green takes the battle of the 16-year-olds in a 1:01.18, just 8/100ths ahead of Jennifer King.
Yeah, 200 backstroke coming through there, Fiona. Again, great performances for the youngsters, pushing down, challenging those barriers and those senior athletes right to the wall.
Absolutely. So, talking of some youngsters, we start the men's 100 IM youth final, and youngest of the youngsters, we have Dean Fern in lane 1 from South Aberdeen. Just missed out on the age group record this morning, so I'm sure he'll be gunning for that. Lucas Brown, Elgin in lane 2, 2 Perth City swimmers, Owen Carroll in 3 and Murray Pritchard in 4. Finn Bremner, Warren de Baths in 5, Robert Burgess from City of Glasgow in 6, Kieran Breschner from Aberdeen Dolphin in 7, and Nathan Campbell, Stirling Swimming in lane 8. 1:02 up to 1:02.01. I'm sure Murray will be seeking that extra edge to get him under the minute here.
Yeah, the 100 IM really does scrutinise all your skills. Need to be absolutely on it. Ooh, bit of an earlier or late start there from the lane 2 or 3, but we're off.
Wait till the end to get that one sorted out, I think. So strong start in lane 1 actually. I think it was Dean Fern as the youngest in the field. Did this morning as well, very strong on his flying back, was brought back, reeled back in on the breaststroke, but he's going for the same tactic here in this 100 IM youth final, and it may well be maybe Lucas just ahead, 27.1, just behind Dean. So let's see what happens on this breaststroke. Often the changing of the guard on the breaststroke, but there's only 25 of it here, so, and it's really brought everyone back in a line as you might expect. And maybe lane 7, Kieran Breschner, lane 6, is Robert Burgess and Finn Bremner in 5, and it's all to play for on this freestyle leg, as it's lane 3 and lane 4, and it may well be Murray Pritchard who has timed this very well indeed, and he gets it 1:00.24, just over his time from this morning. 1:00.49 for Finn Bremner, just under the 1:01. That's an improvement on his heat swim. And Owen Carroll 1:00.07 as well. So a number of swimmers getting under the 1:01 there that they didn't manage in the heat. So that's improvements. That's the race confirmed on your screen.
Still a great performance there from Dean. He was just marginally outside, still dipping under the 1:02.
Yeah, it's getting to a point where the poor lad's not breaking a Scottish record and he's getting disappointed, but that's a good standard to set himself. But I'm sure he won't be disappointed with that swim. That's a very strong 1:01.9, as you said. So moving into the B final here, Swale Talib from University of Stirling, Andrew Arthur, University of Stirling in 2, Tom Robinson, Aberdeen Performance in 3, Jamie Ferguson, Aberdeen Performance in 4, Jamie Allison from Aberdeen Performance in 5, Rudy McKinnon, City of Glasgow in 6, Matthew Garrity, Inverclyde in 7, and Ross Errants, South Ayrshire in lane 8.
Yeah, I think your co-commentating counterpart from this morning will have a bit of influence around those Aberdeen Performance lads. He'll be in and around the poolside with them.
I'm sure he will. Seems to be enjoying his new role up there. And see how his swimmers get on.
See if Jamie can challenge that 57 barrier into the 57s.
Jamie made transition from Midlothian up to Aberdeen over lockdown. Seems to be benefiting from it, but in lane 6, bit of a sprint specialist, Rudy McKinnon, and he's City of Glasgow swimmer. Very strong first length on fly. Slightly coming back to him now on the backstroke in lane 4. Jamie Ferguson, a backstroke specialist, and he's just edged out by Rudy, 26.01 to 26.34, but very strong back to breast take turnaround there from Rudy, and he's just getting reeled back in. So back to the point you've made before around the technicalities of the turn, Rudy making the most of that, as the others have caught him up though on the swim. And it is lane 4, Jamie Ferguson, and in lane 5 on his teammate Jamie Allison. But I think it's going to be Jamie Ferguson who's going to manage to just take this, and he does. 57.73.
I think he'll be very pleased with that.
0.6 improvement on his heat swim. 58.13 for Jamie Allison, an improvement for him as well. And Tom Robinson, 58.20. All of those swimmers improving on their heat time. As we move into the A final, and in this A final we have Stefan Kravich from East Lothian in lane 1, Eugene Cook from Edinburgh Uni in 2, Mark Ford, City of Glasgow in 3, Tony Joe Tret Oliver in 4, Rory Dixon in 5 from University of Stirling, as is Pierce Greening in lane 6, Conor Massey, Aberdeen Performance in lane 7, and Chris Muir, Uni of Stirling in 8. Stefan Kravich got the age group record this morning, so I'm sure he'll be gunning for an improvement, but it's not easy to improve on a record swim from the morning to the afternoon, and he's not long out of a 200 fly, but let's see how he gets on here.
Yeah, speaking of priming, 200 fly and 100 medley, that's not the most common of priming opportunities, but nope. Again, he's got youth on his side and he's so versatile across these events.
Tony Joe was initially disqualified from his heat this morning but reinstated, so he's getting a good chance again to have another swim in this A final this evening. So the starters orders, 55.8 for Tony Joe, and to 58.05 for Chris, but if the B final's done anything to go by, these guys are going to be looking to improve on their swims from this morning.
Again, you've got Yoshin Cook, decent 50 flyer, and again he's a strong breaststroker, with a bit of a upset in the outside.
See how we go. So strong start in lane 3. That's Mark Ford. You'd think he would be strong in the first 50 here, flying backstroke being 2 of his main events, and he's maximising the turn there in lane 3.
And I think that might have been Yushin Cook going well past 50 metres there off the turn, so need to
see what happens there. Mark Ford 25.1. So it's still Mark. He's getting reeled in by Tony Joe on this breaststroke, and you expect Rory Dixon to come strongly, which he is on this breaststroke leg. And it's all to play for here. Maybe just lane 4, Tony Joe. It's a reason why he qualified fastest. Mark Ford on his inside, Rory Dixon on his outside. Rory absolutely piling in here with 15 to go, 5 to go, and I think it's going to be Tony Joe, but it's Rory Dixon, 55.94.
What a finish.
What a cracking last 10 there from Rory.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I'll be surprised if there's not a disqualification here based off what I witnessed.
So let's see. Sharp eyes or not here, Jack. And I think you nailed it. Yeah, Yushin unfortunately overextending his backstroke turn. And disqualified in lane 2. Rory Dixon, great final 25 there from him to just outpace Tony Joe Tread Oliver by 5/100ths of a second. And Mark Ford, the early leader, managed to maintain into third there. And slight improvement on his heat swim as well. So into the last 2 individual swims of the evening. It's the women's 400 freestyle. This is the B final first. We have Cara Gordon from Stirling Swim in 1, Rebecca Reid, Aberdeen in 2, Abby Hall, Edinburgh University in 3, Iona Morley from Winchester in 4, Amy Shields, City of Glasgow in 5, Mary Craig from Stirling Swimming in 6, in lane 7, Alwyn Cook from Edinburgh Uni, and Anna Williamson in lane 8. Anna took the advantage in that backstroke. I think it was the backstroke where she came in as a reserve. Won the, I think it was the B final. On initial merit here on this 400 freestyle. So entry times, or times from this morning, swimming 4:26 for Iona through to 4:33 for Anna Williamson. Tough race, the 400, sort of halfway between a sprint and a distance. And
I was about to say that, yeah, the 200, you don't have the same comfort of the 800 with settling into a pace, and it's not as short and sharp as the 200. You can really be found wanting in that second half on a 400 if you go out too hard. And I've seen it before, people really attacking the first 200 to 300 and really coming home on a body back in the last 100. So pacing here is absolutely crucial. And you mentioned the scorecards earlier with the 1500 into the 400 short course. Again, if you're not totally on it with your pacing and your awareness, you can get caught out.
Absolutely. I've seen a few things that happen even at Scottish short course meets where people have finished with 50 to go. Whether that was more out of hope than expectation, I don't know, but 102.28.
I've done it myself, embarrassingly.
Me too.
It's okay, I can admit that now.
Absolutely.
Stretching away there, that is Alwyn Cook. That's actually Yushin's sister.
That's right. So Chris was saying this morning that she's 400 free is a new event for her. And just really learning how to do it. She went out quite pacey this morning and did suffer slightly in the last 200, as you were just talking there around pacing. So it'd be interesting to see if she's even in the few hours between these 2 races, whether she's picked up a few lessons and slightly adjusting how she swims this race. Yeah, that will become evident as we go through.
Comes down to a tactical discussion with the coach, what you're going over, your process, look back in the splits, you can review the videos from the stream, you can look over your technique, the pacing, your stroke counts. All this stuff is again real vital information that the coach athlete reflection points can have prior to a final, and again around the pacing with this event really is crucial.
Absolutely. So trying to find my splits from this morning, but as disorganised as I am, I can't find them, so we'll just have to see how Yushin's sister Alwyn gets on. It's now maybe just moving ahead is lane 5, Amy Shields, City of Glasgow.
Yeah, she's got a long stroke there and breathing across, seeing Alwyn. Again, you've got a bit of contest going up in lane 2. Rebecca Reid, still well in it. They're actually into second place now.
89. So Amy pulled out of the 100 back earlier on, so it looks like she was deciding to focus on this 400 free this evening. Understandable, and it's paying off at the moment. She has got a body length lead on Rebecca in lane 2. Alwyn definitely pacing this one differently this morning. She's stuck at it in this, so some of that learning already coming through. But it's Amy in lane 5, turning at 300, 3:16. Rebecca not letting her get away though, so this is going to be an interesting last 100. And we've also got in lane 4 Iona from Winchester, so it's pretty close really for third place so far.
Yeah, Iona creeping up on Rebecca there, making a challenge. Got 50 to go. Again, you see the leg kick coming into play there. Amy's legs a little bit flat in the water and
shortening the stroke a little.
Yeah, and Iona's moved across onto the lane line. There's a bit of a tactical shift there. She's breathing towards Amy.
She's certainly caught up Rebecca, and she is reeling in Amy. Do you think she's got enough length left to go to catch her?
Yeah, it's going to come down to this last turn. It was a good breakout, a little bit longer underwater there from Rebecca. But I think again Amy's kicked in a little bit. Legs have come into play and she's streaking away. But
nicely done.
Iona challenging for second place. Looks like she's going to get it.
So it's a nice swim there from Amy, 4:23. So that was worth missing the 400, 800, 100 backstroke for earlier on. 4:23.64 in seconds was Iona Morley, 4:24.75, and in third place was Rebecca Reid, just behind her there by 2/10 and 4:25.97. Mary Craig 4:26.72, hundredths ahead of Alwyn Cook, 4:26.73.
Nice drops across the board there again.
Yeah,
it's a hard double to do, backing up a 400 heat into a 400 final. It's hard to get the recovery and turnaround there, so they all did well.
Absolutely. So we're moving on to the last individual final, A final for this evening before we go on to the mixed medley relays. And in this A final we have Kaylin Hall from Aberdeen Performance in 1, Meg Finnan from University of Stirling in 2, and Madeline Robertson from Kronos in 3, Michaela Glenstar from University of Stirling in 4, Laura Hodgson, Newcastle in 5, Nicole Rickey, Edinburgh University in 6, Natasha Simpson from Warren Baths in 7, and teammate Olivia Mason in lane 8 from Warren Baths as well. So pretty close on the entry times from this morning. Sorry, the heat times this morning. Some of these girls have much faster entries for the meet, so Michaela Glenstar had a 4:08 entry time, Nicole Rickey 4:11 entry time, so you'd be expecting those girls to start pretty fast and take it out, but let's see.
Yeah, I've seen Nicole in the 50 and the 100 at this meet. She's been going across all the distances, but this is much more familiar territory for her. Interesting to see, and again a few youngsters here from Warner in the outside lanes, lanes 7 and 8 respectively.
Laura Hodgson as well, lane 5:16. So again, what we've seen in this event, mix of maturity and youth. So let's see how this race unfolds. You'd expect Michaela and Nicole to slowly edge away, and it is lane 4. Michaela looked very strong and very comfortable this morning, 28.93. In lane 2, Meg Finnan. Saw her earlier on this evening.
Yeah, again the experience there from both Meg and Meg especially. Coming back, both Stirling swimmers.
So it's still Michaela looking very strong and very smooth and rangy freestyle here, 1:00.01. Going with her, Meg Finnan, University of Stirling, not far behind. They're just slightly edging away from everyone, but still quite a lot of this race to go, so plenty of time for things to move and change. So in contrast here from those 1500s earlier on, everyone kicking constantly.
Yeah, can't let the legs relax in the same way, so a much faster beat kick, and again that can be your detriment towards the end if you've not paced it correctly and gone to your legs a little bit too early, but everyone's still looking in control.
So as they move to the halfway, still a lot of time to change, but it does look like Meg and Michaela are consolidating themselves out in the lead.
Yeah, Michaela's implementing a bit of a burst kick off the walls again. We saw that in the 1500. The technique coming off the wall here. See if she does it again. Yeah, a little bit of a more impetus put into the legs coming off the wall, get you back up to speed. Again, so Meg closing now, making
absolutely
a move.
So they're about a second up on the times from this morning, but Meg is really slowly drawing back on Michaela at the 250, getting closer and closer, 236.85. And it's developing into a nice little race here. Lane 5, Laura Hodgson, one of the 16-year-olds, is also coming back strong, as is in lane 5, Nicole Ricci. And I think Meg may just be transitioning into the lead with 100 to go.
Yeah, it looks like she's got a slightly longer stroke. Put her in good stead.
No, good turn there from Michaela. So still 3:09, a couple of seconds up now on the swim this morning, sorry. So be an improvement, but and Laura has edged away from the rest into third, but Michaela and Megan are pretty much neck and neck.
We've got Laura closing. She's making a move now.
Still Michaela just 0.2. Second and a half, and Laura, big kick out there on that turn from Laura. That's a lot to catch up, isn't it, in this final 50?
Indeed, she's rating. She's kicking hard, but maybe left herself a bit too much to do. It's going to be a two-horse race potentially for 1 and 2.
Good turn from Meg there. She looks like she came out that last turn. And Laura is pulling back on Michaela, but I think she maybe has just left it a bit too late. But it is going to be Meg, I think. Ooh, only just 4:13.80. 4 100s ahead of Michaela. That looked a lot less close than it ended up. 4:13.84 from Michaela. Very strong finish there from Laura Hodgson, getting down to a second and a bit behind Laura Hodgson there in a 4:15.07. So
yeah, Meg nearly lost it in the touch there. Michaela,
she did.
Really long reach there for the wall. Just shows these fine margins, even in a 400 event. It really does come down to the wire in a lot of cases.
So we move into this could be interesting, always interesting relays. This is the mixed medley, so combination of boys and girls in this, as well as not having to do the same strokes, so you get men and women competing against each other in the same stroke, and it really doesn't unfold until you get to the wall at the end of the fourth leg. So we've got 4 teams in this first heat. We've got Dundee City Aquatics A, Broke A in 4, in 5 Warren de Baths C, and in lane 6 Gary A.
Yeah, we've got 3 men and 1 woman leading off in this respectively. So you've got Katie Rose from Warner is going to be up against the likes of Kyle, Ryan and Travis. See how she gets on. Again, it's that tactics of where do you put your athletes? Where do you put your athletes in the legs and the strengths and the pros and cons? Again, you might not have a specialist.
Sophie is an adopted member of the family for this one event. Bless her cotton socks.
But then again, it could come down to the breaststroke leg or the freestyle if you've got a male counterpart coming through. You see that in the international stage. Athletes lead off. GB quite often are a little bit controversial around their lead off. Somewhat lacking a senior male freestyler who quite often lead off with a female. And it works out for us.
Yeah, you've got to go with the strengths, haven't you? So let's see how this goes. So Katie's up against the boys in this heat, so let's see how that pans out.
Here we go, settling into the first of 3 heats. Everything in place.
So we've got another 2 heats after this. Ramps up in speed very quickly as we go into that final heat, but we'll stick with this first one now. So Travis Davey for Dundee City Aquatics, Ryan Broadley for Broke, Katie Rose for Warrender Baths, and Cal Mitchell for Gary. So let's see how they all get on here. Travis Davey, strong start for Dundee. And Katie holding her own a little bit as they come out of this turn. But it's going to be Travis Davey who's going to lead off. He's going to turn over to Lucy Stoves, Brian Broadley to Emma Simpson, Katie Rose to Sophie Hull, and Carl Mitchell to Nuala Gow. So here comes all female breaststrokers. So Warrender will have the advantage in the last 2 with 2 boys swimming. But it's Lucy Stove, strong breaststroker 15, coming through against Emma Simpson on her inside. And Sophie Hull's come back well on the Warrender breaststroke leg. Nuala Gow coming through for Gary. So transferring to Scarlett Ferris for Dundee, Jake Gibson for Broch, Callum Rose for Warrender, and Catherine Body for Gary.
Warrender going to be finishing with 2 male athletes here. So again, Katie Rose putting in a good shift in that first length.
So you'd expect Warrender to have a bit of advantage with 2 boys coming into the ends, and it's Callum who's swimming against Scarlett Ferris from Dundee in lane 3. Callum's pulled it back, and it's going to be Callum coming in, and it's going to be, he's turning on to Ian Rose, Scarlett Ferris to Evan Davidson.
Safe take over there.
Yeah, bit too safe probably, but it's Ian Rose coming through. And in lane 2, it's lane 3, Evan Davidson going fast there, and he's got Natalie Bruce from Broch in with him, and Ben McLaughlin in lane 6. But it's going to be Ian Rose bringing it home for Warrender C. They had an entry 1:58. They're going to get nicely under that. So 1:51.78. So that's not a bad sim. Just hope the screen is not going to go blank here for any of these teams, and it doesn't, so that's confirmed. 1:51.78 for Warrender. Dundee City Aquatics 1:55.08, and Broch third in 1:57.38.
Yeah, it can be so marginal on the relays, whether you put it on the line and how tight you really take over, and again, it can be the difference, but again, you don't want to disqualify that team, and
Absolutely
I've been in the unfortunate position where I have disqualified teams putting it a bit too much on the line, but the balance.
It's where the practice comes, isn't it? And a lot of these teams won't be practicing on a regular basis, so you've got to play it safe, really. So in this second heat, Warrender Baths B in lane 1, Warrender Baths junior team in lane 2, City of Glasgow C team in 3, Aberdeen Dolphins A in 4, in 5, City of Glasgow B, South Ayrshire A in 6, South Ayrshire B in 7, and Stirling Swim A in lane 8. So one designated junior team here, Warrender Baths. The rest are a mixture of ages ranging from 14, 15 right up to the 20s. So let's see how this race pans out. A mixture of boys and girls across the pool here. So let's see how this pans out. Anna Green in 1, Rachel Saunders 2, Michael Flynn in 3, Tom Robertson 4, Amy Shields 5, Kira Stricker 6, Callum Dunn in 7, and Alexander Harris in 8. And it's the boys in lane 8 here. I think Alexander Harris has probably taken this one out. And lane 3 also you've got Michael Flynn. So the boys on Backstroke, not surprisingly, taking the lead on there. 26.58 for Alexander. That's a pretty swift first leg here.
There's indeed huge underwaters as well.
Aberdeen Dolphins swimmer is Robert Bryce, who's really coming out strong. And then next to him, City of Glasgow, we've got Yusuf Betu, had a good swim earlier on in the individual breaststroke, and he's really pulling back on Robert. Out there in lane 1, you've got the Warrender B team with Emmy Omaraski but it's definitely lane 5. Yusuf Betu just behind Robert Bryce, and Warrender B in lane 1 taking this one through. So Aberdeen Dolphins in second to lane 5, Gregor Swinney, City of Glasgow B team. And in lane 1 it's still Aberdeen, the Warrender B team, Alex Thompson handing over to Olivia Mason. And in lane City of Glasgow swimmer is Saskia Wade, and the Aberdeen Dolphin swimmer Maya Reynard, daughter of Kevin Reynard of Swimming Days Old, and she's pushing up against the boys, so she's got a tough gig here ahead of her and behind her, but it's going to be a nice swim here from lane 5. City of Glasgow B, 1:51, 1:47.39, 1:49.96 for Warrender in third, and in second was South Ayrshire coming through very strongly there at the end, 1:49.76.
Yeah, huge swim there from Yusuf in that fly leg, enormous swimming, huge underwaters as well. Really puts the team in a great position.
1:47, 1:49, 1:49 is the 1-2-3. City of Glasgow 1:51.52.
Now
so
we've got the Scottish record attempt 2.0 for both Craig McNally, Martin Walton and Scott Gibson respectively, all leading off for their teams in the 50 backstroke leg.
So that's what was that, 23?
23.94
okay,
is the magic number.
So let's see if the relay often does get people swimming much faster than they would an individual. So let's see if that has the effect here for these three guys. So lane 1 Aberdeen Performance B, in lane 2 Aberdeen Performance A, University of Stirling B in lane 3, Unit of Stirling A in 4, Edinburgh Uni in 5, Edinburgh Uni B in 6, City of Glasgow A in 7, and Aberdeen Performance C in lane 8.
So again, the centre lanes 4 and 5, you've got Stirling leading off with 2 men, and then Edinburgh leading off with male then female. So again, there's going to be that chop and change. You're going to see David Cumberledge coming from behind here, hunting down Emma Russell. So it's going to be a very exciting finish.
Absolutely. If you've got Scott Gibson and David Cumberledge in your team, you're pretty much going to pick him, aren't you?
Yeah, and key times to look out for here. University of Stirling going for the national record because they're all 4 are Scots. That time is a 1:44.53. And the club record is actually up for grabs and a 1:46.04, unestablished as yet.
Okay, well somebody's going to get that one.
Very much so. So it'll be one of the two. Likely coming from the centre lanes. Here we go.
So all taking it right to the 15. It's lane 5, Scott Gibson, as he did in the individual, going out very, very strong. But Martin Walton getting a fantastic turn there. Craig McNally also on their inside, and it's going to be Martin, I think, all on the edge from the touch though. 24.03. Oh, Scott touched it. Very good finish there.
And they're right down there. Excellent first 50s there from both.
Absolutely, all around peppering 24. Numerous occasions in the one day. Rory Dixon here in lane 4. Craig Benson coming strong for City of Glasgow in lane 7. So he's handing over to Drew McKenzie in lane 4. We've got a handover from Rory Dixon to Kiana McInnes.
Cara Hanlon coming in for Tane Bruce.
So the one team here who's got the man on the final leg is lane 5, and they've got a lot, leaving David an awful lot to catch up on, but we'll see how he does. At the moment it's lane 4 Stirling University, and in lane 7 City of Glasgow. Strong fly leg from lane 6 Thomas Carswell for Edinburgh University B team, and it's can David reel these girls in? He's got Emma Russell on his inside.
He's been on lightning form of 21.53 yesterday.
Absolutely.
In the lead-off, and so he's right on his lifetime best.
Oh, it's going to be very tight. This is what makes this mixed medley so exciting.
Streaking back at the end, David Cumberledge.
Going to take over from Emma. That's a fantastically judged race from Edinburgh Uni. 1:42.69. Well, that's a new club record.
That is a new club record.
What about
also,
Stirling?
Also a new national record for Stirling.
Fantastic swimming there.
Huge records. Oh, the ominous screen.
All right. Let's see. Don't want any team to be affected here, but Be a shame to lose some records. Always tight on the takeovers, but cracking into the swimming of today. Really good way to finish it off with relays.
Really is so exciting. It was a huge swim from David there. I think splits are right. I think down the 21 lows there.
It's not bad, is it?
Huge swim.
So let's see if any of this. Oh, and we have Aberdeen Performance disqualified in lane 2. It doesn't affect the end result though. Edinburgh University in 1:42.69. University of Stirling, a national record, we're saying.
Yeah.
In lane 1:43.46, and Edinburgh Uni B 1:44.21. So club record in first and a national record in second. So that's pretty good going and a fantastic end to the meet.
It is indeed, and also worth pointing out that City of Glasgow were actually underneath the national record as well, the old national record.
So good swimming from them, but unfortunately in a race where somebody went that little bit quicker. So that's the swimming over for this evening. So thank you very much for your company tonight, Jack. It's been very entertaining and informative as well. So thank you for joining us, and I hope everyone in the live stream has enjoyed that exciting swimming all the way through the evening. And join us tomorrow morning for the next round of heats. And until then, 8:55 the coverage starts tomorrow morning, so look forward to that. And have a good evening on the Saturday, and we'll see you all in the morning, hopefully.